any fucking interruptions. Okay. Let's get Higurashi up. I've been doing this orange and pink kind of makeup lately. Oh. There we go. You could hear it, but I couldn't. Turn the volume down for me, but not the source. Okay, I'm visiting family soon, or tomorrow. I'm leaving. I have so many things I need to do. I need to finish up a project. I want to do most of it because I don't know if I can trust the computer at my family's house to not lag like shit anytime I try to do anything because it's loaded with viruses, or at least back when I was living there it was. You know, like, normally you would worry about the kids clicking on links they shouldn't, but did you ever have this experience where, like, your parents use the computer and every time you go to use the family computer there's like 8 taskbars? And it's just like, you did the thing again that we said for you to not do, which is click on shit that isn't legit. Fucking anyways. But yeah, so I have a project that I have to upload. I want to get the bulk of it done tonight, so that way I'm not spending my family vacation working on a coding project. But the thing is I can't upload it right now. I could send it to him, the instructor, but whatever. And oh. Yes. Load? Yes. Okay. How loud is that? Oh my god, there's so many things. There's a cat on there. This music is especially annoying. I'll just go ahead and do that. But yeah, I've got that to finish. I want to like clean the house so that way I'm not like, you know, when you get back from a trip, you're fucking exhausted, you don't want to do shit. And then I still have to stream and like make more content. I don't have to, but I want to. So I might not sleep tonight anyways, is what I'm saying. And I was thinking, I should switch it up and like play BioShock or like something else, but then it's like Silent Hill F comes out in September, and I said that I wanted to complete Higurashi at least. There's no fucking way I would complete Higurashi, Umineko, and Kikonia all before then, but that's my goal, is to finish Higurashi before Silent Hill F comes out. So we're playing Higurashi for the most part on here. Last time, we found out that, yes, Shion and Mion are in fact different people. And they fucking hate each other. The next day, it was a strange day where Mion was desperate to regain her composure. Every time our eyes met, she would say that she had something to do or that she had to use the washroom and run off. Unable to just watch, Reina was taking care of her the entire time. Wait a second. I didn't post that I'm live. There we go. Now I posted that I'm live. Let's get all of these fucking tabs out of the way. Yes. Okay. Unable to just watch, Reina was taking care of her the entire time. Poor Reina. Mion-san, she's acting totally strange today. I know the whole story, but it's hard to explain. There are times when girls are emotionally unstable. It's best to just leave her alone. Also, I have someone shadowing me today. It's Oki. He really wants to stream Warzone, so he's learning by watching me stream Higurashi. That's what I like to think that Oki, he's like a very shy boy, but I like to think that he's like actually very like, he's shy, but he's hardcore on the inside. Like I want to get him like a Cannibal Corpse t-shirt, but like for a cat or something like that. I think that would be really funny. Like look at him. He looks so like sad all the time. I don't know if you can even see him. Oh. Yeah. There's Goliath. Hopefully the cats aren't gonna be annoying and distracting. Turning around, I saw Reina calling me from the hallway. I wondered what it was. Keiichi-kun, over here, over here. What is it, calling me over like this? Is it a secret? That is... It looks like it was a disaster. Yeah. Mion-chan seemed pretty broken, but I somehow got her working again. I'm surprised you managed it. How did you exactly? Same way I do with the television. Just come at it from a 45-degree angle and hiya! Saying that, she made a chopping motion. You know, I can't tell if you're joking or not, right? She'll be fine by tomorrow. Also, there's something I want you to do, Keiichi-kun. I didn't mean to do anything wrong, but I still feel guilty. I'm listening. Thanks. You see, Mi-chan is just going to pretend the last few days never happened. Never happened, huh? I see. Well, that's one way to run from it. So you see, Keiichi-kun, could you pretend too? Then Mi-chan can go back to normal. Just doing something as simple as that? Is it really gonna be okay? Please, until Mi-chan gets her feelings in order, just go with it. Okay, I got it. Even though I shouldn't have been at fault, for some reason I feel guilty. The one at fault here was the one who knew about the entire situation and pretended to be Mion for an entire day. Shion. Ugh, but she never once said that she was Mion. Ugh, what am I supposed to be angry at? Seeing me stomping the ground impatiently, Reina giggled. But Keiichi-kun, you knew as well that Mi-chan had some cute things about her. Reina talked in a calm voice as her hair rustled in the wind. Yeah, I know that she'll never let it be boring. Good. Following this curt reply, Reina looked up at the sky and stretched. As long as you realize that, Keiichi-kun, these past few days will soon be nothing more than a story to laugh about. Copying Reina, I also began to stretch as I looked at the sky. The clear sky towered in the distance. There's no club activities or anything today. I'm sorry, Keiichi-kun, but just for today, can you go home by yourself? We're at that part where like he starts to walk home by himself and then shit happens, so I feel like we're gonna run into Shion on our way home. It'll all be back to normal by tomorrow, so just for today, okay? If all it took for everything to go back to normal was to leave Mion alone for the day, then it was an easy decision to make. Got it. I can't say it directly to Mion, so I'll say it to you. I still feel kind of guilty about it, so I want to apologize. Ah, no, the root of the problem was Keiichi-kun saying something insensitive, right? So if you learned anything from this, you need to look a bit into gaining a sense of delicacy. Right. I'll try. That day was the shortest day of my life. Reina was talking to Mion while accompanying her around the entire time. It looked like a really fun conversation, so I reflexively thought about joining in, but I had made a promise not to. It seemed that Mion was also trying her best to ignore me, so likewise, I did my best to ignore her. For the first time in a while, I ate lunch alone. Mion and Reina ate theirs by themselves. I let out a sigh in my ashen mood. Rika-chan came up. Oh my god. As I let out a sigh in my ashen mood, Rika-chan came over and patted me on the head. Both Keiichi and me learned a whole lot. I'd never say it like that. It made it sound like we were having romantic problems. I didn't like that one bit. Hopefully the teacher wouldn't notice and call us to the staff room after school or something. I'm sure that Keiichi will grow up to be a wonderful adult. Pat pat. Rika-chan is the studious type, so maybe I'll grow up to be an amazingly wonderful adult? Of course. When I grow up, I'll be super amazing. Those who know, know. When I grow up, I'll be an amazing lady, you know? No matter how old you get, you'll still be a brat. You can put money on it. What did you say? As Sadako snapped her fingers, a wash basin fell from above, hitting me squarely in the head. Ow! What do you think you're doing, Sadako? Bang, smash, pinch, squeeze. It was a day I could thoroughly appreciate the value of having friends. I like to think of these as like cold openings for the chapter. That was weird. It's like he got up, went to school. Is this a different day? Today was Saturday, so school ended in the blink of an eye. Did they have school on Saturdays? I don't know how Japanese school worked, especially in like the 80s, especially in the country. So, oh shit. It felt really good to go home with the sun so high in the sky. On any other day, our club would have been up to mischief during our ample after-school time, but today Rika-chan had a rehearsal for tomorrow's Watanagashi to go to. How's that going, Rika-chan? Do you have it down in practice? I'll try harder than last year. You were so exhausted and sweaty after last year's ceremony. She'll look far more fit for the role this year. Please look forward to the fruits of her training. The Watanagashi festival everyone had been talking about was tomorrow, wasn't it? The festival being in June felt a little early to me, but the onset of summer came quickly this year, so it fit the image of a summer festival pretty well. Okay, we'll be off then. Look forward to tomorrow. Good day to you all. Sadako and Rika-chan waved to us energetically, then left. You know, I never asked, where is the festival happening anyway? I don't remember there being anywhere around here that seemed suited for hosting one. They do it at the Furude Shrine. We went there for a walk one day, remember? It was that place with the really good view. Oh, right, I remember. There was a shrine all the way up on that hill, wasn't there? It seemed far too grand for Hinamizawa. There's a great meeting hall in the shrine, too. The older people get together there and sing karaoke or practice calligraphy from time to time. It's more like a recreational facility than a simple shrine. Are you... Goliath. Okay. He's laying on top of the PC. I didn't know if he was going to start biting cords. Right? Okay. I see. I guess it makes sense that it looks so grand then. Mei-chan, is your family going to help set up today? Yep, we have male hands for that. Most of our relatives come from town to help. Male hands, huh? Well, I mean, I have nothing to do at home today, so... Would it be a problem if I squirmed my way in there to help out too? Ooh, we get an inside look of the festival, maybe? Or maybe she doesn't want... Huh? You want to help us, Kei-chan? Not if it'll bother you all. I was just kind of interested. We had bond dances and other festivals in the town I used to live in, but I didn't even know where they took place, much less wanted to help. You could say that I had absolutely no connection to the region. Having come to Hinamizawa, though, it really made me feel like this place was a home that I had returned to. Before I knew it, I harbored a little interest in the small community activity of preparing for a festival the day before. I wonder if you'll be able to, Keiichi-kun. There's a lot of... Oh my god. No. 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 I wonder if you'll be able to, Keiichi-kun. There's a lot of building tents and setting up chairs. I hear it's pretty hard physical labor. I mean, I wouldn't be doing it alone, right? Hair's brushing against my face. The more hands we have, the faster it'll go. Mion looked happy to hear that, but at the same time, her expression was complex, tinged with hesitation. Reina gave her the last push for me. It's decided then. You should go for it, Keiichi-kun. He's all yours, Mi-chan. Put him through the ringer. Well, I can't argue with a recommendation from Reina. Okay then, go home first, put on some work clothes, and come to the shrine. Oh, and you might want to bring a towel to wipe your sweat too. Got it. I may look scrawny, but I actually quite like the breaking a sweat under the hot sun. Careful you don't hurt your back, okay? Right enough of my old man spiel. I'll go to the shrine too, as soon as I've changed. Mi-chan, you do your best too. Bye-bye. Mion waved vigorously to us left and right. As far as I could tell from her gallant, retreating figure, she seemed to have recovered from the weak state she had yesterday. Girls are quick to get over things. Mi-chan is already fine. Right. Her switching back to normal so cleanly really makes it easy for me to talk to her. It was kind of funny though, wasn't it? Kind of like Cinderella. Like, you can't meet her anymore once the magic wears off. Reina began to giggle a fair bit in amusement. Did she like this sort of thing? Incidentally, me going along with it gave me a weird, hard-to-describe feeling. Did I turn myself into a plaything, or did they do it for me? If you think it's so funny, then you should try pretending to be a different Reina too. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Keiichi-kun, what kind of Reina would you want to meet? One with a bust size of at least 90, huge knockers that you're okay with me touching. I can't do that. She'd be great at cooking, and make me lunch, and come to see me in the mornings. I do that already. I pull Reina's head into a tight grip and start to pet it. You're Reina Ryugu, right? Reina, not Reina. So you just stay as Reina forever, got it? Thanks. Have fun helping set up the festival. The flow of these, I keep complaining about the translation, but like, just the flow of the sentences is really weird and unnatural. You got it. Let's meet up for tomorrow. This is a sign that I should hydrate. I got changed right away, and slinging a towel around my neck like Mion suggested, I set off for the shrine. At the shrine, there were more people than you'd imagine even live in Hinamizawa there. God damn it. We've got Queen. New slippers. Queen's excited you imagine if I just had like a piece of like bubble gum or like dog shit on the bottom of the slippers? And I just showed it off like proudly. At the shrine, there were more people than you'd imagine even live in Hinamizawa there, all cordoning off areas and setting up tent frameworks, chatting amongst themselves as they did so. Hey. Nice. Dude, stop. Alright. Goliath always wants to, like, mess with Queen. He likes to play fight with her a lot. All cordoning off areas and setting up tent frameworks, chatting amongst themselves as they did so. Alright, where's Mion? The liveliness of the throng didn't make it easy to look for her. I searched around as if I already worked there, and suddenly the principal called out to me. If it isn't Mayabara-kun, interesting. Have you come to help with the Wada Nagashi setup? Hello. Yes, I was just wondering if there was anything I could help with. How commendable your attitude is. Feel free to sweat to your heart's content. Yahaha. Spurred on by the principal, I came upon a group of people setting up tents. Oh, what's this? It's Mayabara-chan. Did you come all this way to help us? I hadn't found Mion yet, but I suppose I'd just get in her way if I ran into her. Yeah, I'm here to help. Just tell me where you need me. You young ones have all the vitality. Here, grab some work gloves. Ever built a tent before? No, never. Delighting in teaching a new skill to someone younger, plenty of people happily taught me all sorts of things. Okay, kid, go inside the tent and tie up just the cords for the top. After that, we'll stand it up and tie the rest of them. Butterfly knots are okay, right? There and there. All done? We're standing it up. 1, 2, 3. What was once nothing more than a collapsed tent was raised on by 4 splendid legs before my eyes in mere moments. Whoa, seeing it put together like this is actually pretty moving. Come on, no time to stare and wonder, we've got a lot more to do. We packed the tents into the truck, so go get them from there. They're heavy, so take someone with you. Nah, I'm good. I may look scrawny, but I'm actually pretty strong. Whoa. They look light enough, so I thought they were, but they're heavy. That's why I told you to have someone help. Come on, said the man, lifting it up with a grunt and taking it away under his arm. Either I'm weak or all these old guys have superhuman strength. Let's go. You're the youngest one here, so we're going to make you sweat for it. Do your best. Beer after work is the best. I'm a minor. Sweat dripped from my body. I'd been fully and completely absorbed in helping them. I would never have thought the cold barley tea from the Women's Society could taste this delicious. You're so young. Make sure you drink a lot. Thank you. It was then that I realized a crowd had formed near the shrine a ways off. When I took a closer look, I saw a girl dressed in shrine maiden garb and a handful of old men looking like they were preparing for the ceremony together. Is that Rika-chan? Hey, Rika-chan! Do your best! I shouted, and it seemed like she heard me. Rika-chan, positively exploding with vitality, answered with a smile. The older guys with me watched Rika-chan as well, with distant gazes. Rika-chama is doing a great job. She seems far more used to this than she did last year. The old lady who gave me the tea clasped what looked like prayer beads in her hands and said, Rika-sama, we thank you, and just like that, began to respectfully pray to her. Huh? I just remembered that they called it the Furude Shrine. Wasn't Rika-chan's full name Rika Furude? The man standing next to me answered my question. That's right. Rika-chama's Furude clan is ancient and honorable, and has worshipped Oyashiro-sama for generations. Finally, we get our first mention of Oyashiro-sama. Huh. I had always gotten the feeling she wasn't quite your average person, but it turned out she was from an esteemed family. After her father, who was the shrine priest, died the year before last, she's really been doing her best to learn the rituals. I wish the priest could have been here to see how wonderfully she's grown up. What? Rika-chan's father passed away? Okay, break time is over. Let's get the chairs we're not using back to the gym in Okonomiya. Maki-san, pull the truck around here and take a few people with you. Alright, Maebara-kun, let's get to work on one last job. Ugh. You're gonna make me do more work? I can't tell if they know I'm a minor or not, but the older men all cheer me on, encouraging me to do my best, and that the beer will be great. It's all like... It's very The Hills Have Eyes energy. Not really, but like... No, more like... I actually haven't seen Children of the Corn, so I can't really say, but it's like... It's culty, is what I'm trying to say. Kei-chan, working hard, I see. I passed by Mion. She was carrying a big cardboard box. It looked like she was right in the middle of working as well. Judging by the sweat seeping into her shirt, it seemed I wasn't the only one with his hands full. Yeah, I'm working my ass off. You work hard too. The beer's gonna be great. We were working to the bone until the sun began to set and it started cooling off. I just spilled coffee. It was soon full-fledged night, and the clear sound of the Higurashi eased the moderate pain I felt. The older guys began their night before drinking party in a tent a fair bit off, causing quite a ruckus. The shrine grounds, on the other hand, had turned into a lonely room, tickled by the cool evening breeze despite being so festive just a little while ago. The wind felt good. I leaned on one of the stone guardian dogs at the front of the shrine. I gave my legs a good stretch as I let my mind wander, and suddenly a paper cup filled with barley tea was thrust before me. Kei-chan, great work. Here's some tea for you. You're so considerate. Thanks me. Her voice sounded exactly the same, but it felt somehow different. Wait, you're... Hey, it's Shion. Don't go giving Mion all the credit. She isn't considerate at all. Don't get us confused, okay? Shion, you little... Now that I've caught you, you're not getting away. It was your mistake, Kei-chan. I've never said that I was anyone other than Shion. I guess I can't argue with that. That's right. You're no match for my older sister, so I can't let you be a match for me either. Anyway, your tea. It's going to get warm. Come on, please cheer up. I'm trying to make it up to you with this tea. Well, she did come all the way here to give it to me. I guess I'll accept it. I took the cup and downed it in one gulp, and then suddenly, I heard a loud shout and got it stuck in my throat. Cough, cough, hack. Which one is it this time? Is it the real Mion? Shion, why are you hanging out with Kei-chan again? Because unlike you, I'm very considerate. Kei-chan was so sweaty I couldn't leave him alone, so I brought him some tea. By the way, why are you holding 2 cups of tea? Mion's face went bright red, and she tried to hide the paper cups behind her back. Well, this is... There's no way you, such a rough, timid, good sister of mine, would ever briskly bring a male classmate tea, is there? So what are they? What are those 2 cups of tea? God, she's such a fucking cunt. Oh my god. These are, well, right. I was just so thirsty, I figured I'd drink 2. Like, why can't you just say, why can't Mion just say that she was bringing Keiichi tea also? Like, is Mion trying to hide the fact that she likes Keiichi that much? That she's willing to, like, hide it from Shion? That's so like you. Come on, chug, chug. As Shion cheered her, Mion downed both the cups of tea one after the other. Damn, Shion is just living in Mion's head rent-free. Ugh. What a fabulous drink that was. I expected nothing less from you. Kei-chan, you give her a hand too. Wait, suddenly the situation has gotten unbelievable. Mion usually doesn't get manipulated so easily like that. I've known for a while now, but Shion is terrifying. Mion, you can't hold your own against Shion? I hate her, and lately I hate her even more. Just then I heard the snap of a camera shutter. Ah, we're meeting both of them at the same time. Good evening. The festival's coming up tomorrow. Thanks for all your hard work setting it up today. Good evening. Oh, Shion-chan, it's quite unusual for you to come here. Oh hey, it's Tomitake and Takano-san. Good evening. It's been a while, hasn't it? So you're that transfer student I've been hearing about, Keichimar-bara-kun, right? You really did a bang-up job today. I'm impressed. I feel like I've seen this photographer guy before. Have we met before? I'm glad you remembered. We passed many times on the road, Keiichi-kun. I'm Tomitake. I'm a freelancing photographer from Tokyo. Then do you recognize me? I'm sorry, but I don't. What? She's Mio Takano-san. Do you remember when you were at the doctor's office when you still had a cold, Kei-chan? Mio-san was one of the nurses who works there. Okay, this is like getting way too fucked up because like I remember him having a cold in the previous chapter. When the fuck? I have not been going back and like rewatching the stuff to like keep up on what's been happening, but like, okay. Anyways, call me Takano. I'm pleased to meet you. I wonder if she squeezed over them like in the shrine stored room. What? What is she talking about? That's very thoughtful of you. Tomitake seemed to be quite entertained at the Sonozaki twins being in the same place. And he took a picture after picture. This is too weird. I've heard about them, but this is the first time I've actually seen a pair of identical twins. You really do look exactly alike. We're not just alike on the outside. See, our underwear matches too. Ah, you idiot, what the heck are you doing? Things have never been as lively as when the two of them are together. I thought they were exactly the same at first, but I've started to get a handle on which one is which. Mion is Mion, and Shion, well, she seems a far better actor than Mion was. In the first place, somebody could spurn Mion so easily wouldn't have shown such weakness to those lard buckets at Angel Moore. If that was the case, then that cowardly behavior from that day was all a complete act. They were even more alike when they were little. I hear that even their parents had a hard time telling which was which. That's really easy to imagine. I totally understand what they must have gone through. Takano gave me an odd look, but explaining would have been a pain, so I didn't bother. Tomitake, are you going straight back to Tokyo after you get your pictures of the festival? Yep, though I would rather just stay here forever. Silly adult things, that's all. I hope your photos win a fabulous prize soon. I've been praying for it. I can't tell if she's being sarcastic this time. Like, obviously it was Mion last time, but... Thanks, next time I'll come, I'll bring the pictures I took of you all today. Mayabara-kun, you did a lot of work today. You must be tired from all the physical labor you're not used to. Huh? Well, I'm tired, but it was still pretty fun. This is so fucking creepy because, like, this is, like, the first time they're meeting, and it's, like, clear that they've been watching him, and, like... I hate that shit when people, like, just meet me, and then they, like... I remember that there was this one time I was, like, sitting on the front steps, just, like, kind of enjoying the breeze, and someone was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, yeah, like, I'm just sitting on the steps. It doesn't mean I'm upset. And it's like, well, I've never seen you do that before. You don't usually do that. And it's like, this person I hadn't even known for like 3 months or something like that. And it's like, just because you've never seen me do that doesn't mean I've never done it. Like, ugh, you actually do not know me. Stay the fuck away from me. Ah, youth, I'm so jealous. I hate all of these people so much. Takano-san smiled with an adult elegance that no one in my circle of friends possessed. The wind caught her hair. She gives off an intelligent beauty. Oh, why, hello, everyone. It seems our merry crowd was standing out. This time, an overweight older man addressed us. And again, it was someone I thought I knew. If I recall correctly, he's a policeman, isn't he? Oh, Oishi-san. Good evening. Doing a preliminary security inspection for tomorrow? Something like that. Oh, if it isn't Tomitake-san, it's certainly been a while. I'm honored you remember my name. You really do love Hinamizawa, don't you? The apartments around here are far cheaper than the ones in Tokyo. You should just move here and get it over with. I know a realtor I can introduce you to. I appreciate the thought. I'd very much like to follow up on that. All right, everyone, have a good year. And Happy New Year to the Sonozaki twins, too. Happy New Year, Detective Oishi. We appreciate your work. We'd like to end this year's festival with the least amount of inconvenience possible. That's pretty strict on me. Detective Oishi left us with a low laugh and headed off to talk to some police officers standing a ways away. I gave Mion a glance and saw her making an annoyed face, as if she was glaring bullets at someone she hated. Yeah, it'd be nice if the police didn't have anything to do during Watanagashi this year. No police at Pride, basically. You like this place too, don't you? I love my fake laugh, don't you? Oh, you mean to say you dislike it, Jiro-san? Oh my god. I quite enjoy such fantastic stories, you know. Especially with the times being so dry and uninteresting. The Curse of Oyashiro-sama, you mean? Curse. Tomitake-san used a troubling word. Then suddenly someone tugged on my arm. Kei-chan, I'm pretty hungry. Want to go to the tent with the drinks and have some candy and sweets? I'm up for that. I've gotten a little hungry as well. Okay, let's go. A moment later, Shion said something to Takano and Tomitake that stung my ears and gave me a start. I wonder who will die and who will disappear this year. I pulled back from Mion's grip and stopped abruptly. Shion, what did she just say? Felt like the air around us dried out all of a sudden. Let's go, Kei-chan. They're talking about something silly anyway. You still haven't told Kei-chan? I make it a point to not spread stories like that. Shion's cold and quiet tone and Mion's harsh voice were quite the contrast. Hey, wait, hold on. What are you talking about? If you know something, then tell me. It doesn't feel right being the only one left out, you know. I don't understand this. Someone explain it to me. However, Mion didn't seem to be at all willing to grant my request. She squeezed my hand in hers a bit, and when she realized I would hold my ground on this topic, she let go. I'm gonna go to the drinking tent first then. If you don't come soon, Kei-chan, there won't be any left for you. I get it already. I'll be there soon. Mion left, trotting towards a particularly noisy tent on the other side of the shrine grounds. Before she got there, she stopped and turned back around. I showed no signs of going after her, though, so she ran off. I could tell if you haven't heard, I suppose. I could tell you if you haven't heard, I suppose, but it might be smarter not to ask and go with her to eat dessert. Hey now, you've already gotten my full attention here. I'm not going to leave without asking at this point. I think Kei-chan has the right to hear this too. My sister was just stealing that from you. Shion's voice was bristling with thorns, as if somehow blaming Mion. What on earth are you talking about? I don't really like people acting so self-important. Takano-san, realizing how prepared I was, looked across the group. After confirming there were no objections, she opened her mouth. Do you believe in curses, Mayabara-kun? Curses? I think they're interesting, but I don't really. I felt their cynical stares and winced. It was like they were telling me it was stranger not to believe in curses. You're not wrong, Kei-chan. Curses are just superstition. It's only natural that you wouldn't believe in them. Besides, you can tell all the time you need to decide whether to believe in curses after you've heard us through. Okay, said Takano-san, giving a little smile. They're trying to scare me. At least that's what it feels like. Alright, I'll start. Keiichi-kun, do you know about the Hinamizawa Dam project? Oh yeah, the other day at Angelmore, Shion, or Mion rather, told me all about it. You mean the plan for the giant dam that would flood all of Hinamizawa, right? That's right. Residents of the town banded together to fight it, and a fierce battle with the government unfolded. I've heard that too. The entire village united, using all the power at their disposal, mass media, political influence, and other things, and fought the country. The way Mion described it made it sound like a boast. Oh, you know quite a bit about it. Yes, you're right. It's practically an epic tale, just how just 1,000 or so villagers banded together and rejected the government's plans. Did you hear this from my sister? She likes those kinds of epics, you know? Yeah, she told me. There was, however, an office for the Hinamizawa residents' opposition faction. It was the shrine. You know the assembly hall? That's where it used to be. Now that the whole thing is over, the senior citizens just use it for group activities. At the time, though, it was their last bastion. Takano-san explained this, pointing a finger toward the assembly hall. I had been carrying things in and out of there all day. I mean, I would understand if they put an office like that in the mayor's house or something, but having an office on shrine grounds made it feel kind of like a base camp for Sengoku period warriors. That was basically the mindset, though. Placing the main force in the shrine dedicated to Oyashiro-sama, Hinamizawa's guardian deity, was like a prayer for victory. Oyashiro-sama. That was definitely it. They mentioned Oyashiro-sama's curse before. Is it the same Oyashiro-sama? Do you know about Oyashiro-sama, Keiichi-kun? It's the name of the god worshipped at this shrine. It's said that he protects all of Hinamizawa. Well, I don't really know much about him. I see. I think Takano-san knows more about the rest. Tag, you're it. Well, that is generally the whole story. Oyashiro-sama is the ancient god passed down in Hinamizawa, and the villagers say he has been protecting this sanctuary from the poisons of the outside world. So essentially, he's a basic standard guardian deity. I guess you can find that sort of god anywhere you go. There's research into whether worshipping Oyashiro-sama is a manifestation of a kind of elitism too. What I mean is that the worshippers might think of themselves as chosen people. Believing yourself chosen, a nationalistic belief that you are part of a superior race, or that you're a special clan chosen by the gods. They believe that they're a superior clan, so they believe strongly in cooperating with others, but they also end up being exclusionary towards other clans. I won't go into too much detail, but it's the sort of national and religious ideas that lead to war. Of course, that goes for Japan too. A long time ago, the people of Hinamizawa strongly believed themselves different from humans, that they were above them. They believed that interaction with the lower world would sully their souls. So everyone believed that if one from the lower world came to the village, they would be sullied and suffered the wrath of Oyashiro-sama. Apparently that kept everyone away. Villages that hate outsiders come up all the time in Kindaichi novels. This was once a run-of-the-mill village of xenophobes. Well, they'll deny it to preserve their pride. It was all a long time ago, after all. Things are different now. Shion followed up quickly, having sensed the thorns in Tomitake-san's words. Tomitake-san, embarrassed at what he said, scratched at his head. So the shrine worships Oyashiro-sama, thinks of Hinamizawa as holy ground, and it's a symbol of their traditional hatred of the outside world. I get it. So that's why they chose the shrine of Hinamizawa's guardian spirit as the base of operations, to resist the sully dam construction project that came from the outside. Correct, smiled smiled Takano, pleased. She must dislike stupid people. Superstition, every last bit of it. The villagers gave everything, desperate to oppose the dam construction, and right in the midst of it, the incident drove home the finishing blow. Oyashiro-sama's curse. The person managing the construction site of the Hinamizawa Dam was murdered. 4 years ago, I believe. It took the newspapers by storm. Do you remember it? No, not really. He had a fight with a subordinate and was beaten to death with a pickaxe. His limbs and head were torn off, and the remains were disposed of. One of those dismemberment homicides. They were all the rage at one point. Such a gruesome incident. But it was just that, an incident. A person caused the incident, after all. Should they really put it down to the curse? Then the following year, the man who had organized Hinamizawa's group of dam proponents, he fell from a cliff while on vacation and died. Apparently, it was an accident. Of course, most of Hinamizawa was hostile towards him. The police were all over the case as if it were a homicide, but in the end, it was judged to have been an accident. Now it's an accident. This is the most curse-like one, but it's still far-fetched. And then, on the next year, this time the priest of the shrine contracted an unknown illness and suddenly died. This may sound a little rude, but the old priest was kind of a wait-and-see type. The whole village was in an uproar about the dam, but he just kind of didn't seem to want to bother. The shrine was the symbol of the opposition movement, and its priest, well, his attitude worked against him. The villagers at the time had hoped for a leader, but their hopes were betrayed. Some people were apparently pretty angry too. So at the time, all the older people were like, "This is Oyashiro-sama's curse." That's what they said. It did seem like every year, dam-related people, the village... Oh my fucking god. What is this writing? It did seem like every year, dam-related people the village had resentment towards were dying. It was pretty creepy. Like... shit's bothering the fuck out of me. Oh, and also, it's interesting, all of these incidents and accidents were always happen on the night of the Waranagashi festival. What? See? Starting to sound like a curse now, isn't it? Then the year after that, in other words, last year, the sister-in-law of the man who was the leader of the dam proponents, the one who had accidentally died, was discovered dead, having been beaten to death. Of course, they caught that criminal. See? Really seems like a curse, huh? 4 years in a row. Each one of the incidents and accidents were relatively commonplace, but every single one of them happening on the night of the festival worshipping Oyashiro-sama? That's not normal. The old folks have been blindly accepting Oyashiro-sama's curse because of the incidents these past few years. Even younger people, too. At first they thought it was stupid, but now nobody makes fun of it. Yeah, I can see where she's coming from. Even me, even if I didn't think there was a curse at all, thinking about all the incidents like this makes me feel like maybe it's real. For example, just look at the preparations for the festival you were doing today. Everything might have gone crazy during the battle against the dam, but just a few years ago, the Waranagashi festival was never this well attended. Well, I guess you're right. If we didn't have Oyashiro-sama to talk about, we wouldn't be all coming to a festival like this, huh? There's a lot of people who say that infidels might be punished, so they really need to go to Oyashiro-sama's festival. Shion nodded as if she were mocking herself. So how about now? Kage-kun, you're starting to get the feeling that maybe, just maybe, the curse is real, aren't you? I mean, you can't just laugh off people related to the dam construction project all dying like that. If even I feel like this now, then the more superstitious members of the village must feel stronger than that. Well, I mean, I still don't think there's a curse. I can understand that those believe there is, though. Wow, Kei-chan, you can really keep a cool head about this. Shion grinned, realizing I'd rejected the curse. If it's neither a curse nor a coincidence, then what should we make of these incidents? Takano-san said, smiling playfully, as if posing a riddle. Neither a curse nor a coincidence, but every year someone dies. What should we make of that, then? Tomitake-san, catching on to the fact that I had no idea what to make of it, opened his mouth and came to my aid. Takano-san is suggesting that it might be the work of real people. Eh? Simple process of elimination would have gotten me there. I was a little taken aback at not having realized the answer immediately. Well, think about it. If it's neither a curse nor a coincidence, then people must be willingly carrying it out. It's the only explanation, right? Pressed Takano-san. I smiled bitterly in spite of myself. Here I was just a few minutes ago thinking the very concept of a curse was absolutely absurd. When she suggested it was someone's doing, I ended up thinking there wasn't any way it could be a person. But Takano-san was right. It was either a curse or it was a person's doing. If unrealistic things like curses didn't exist, then the obvious next step would be to start thinking it was people behind it. But if that was the case, I glanced at Shion. If the culprit is a person, then they'd have to be someone from Hinamizawa. That's what the police officer, Oishi-san, thinks right now, too. Hey, wait, that can't be... I thought I now knew the reason Mion didn't want to talk about this. If Oyashiro-sama's curse really existed, then that's fine. It would be divine judgment for the damn project business. However, if Oyashiro-sama's curse didn't exist, which it obviously didn't, then the culprit would most likely be someone from Hinamizawa. The villagers had worked desperately to oppose the dam construction project. I knew they had used all sorts of methods to fight against it. If one of those methods was maybe... People whisper that Oyashiro-sama's curse could be the doing of a secret group in the dam resistance movement. Shion dryly put words to my exact thoughts. Of course, I didn't expect it. She was from Hinamizawa, so I didn't think she'd come out and say it herself. If you calm down and think about it, anyone would come to the same conclusion. There wouldn't be a motive for anyone but people who benefit from opposing the dam project, right? I guess that's true. Admitting to the existence of a darker side of the dam conflict would be rude to Mion, who spoke of it so highly. So I couldn't just accept Shion's seemingly logical viewpoint. One more thing. The police probably don't know this. There's proof that someone from Hinamizawa committed these crimes, and the people of Hinamizawa know it. What? Shion rebukes me to keep my voice down. Sorry, but this proof, what is it? It's the fact that one person dies and one more person disappears. One more person disappears. Did that mean that someone besides the one who died from the curse was a sacrifice? What do you mean by disappear? They just vanish and you never see them again? That's right. Suddenly and without a trace. As she spoke, Shion pretended to do a trick with her hands like she were making a magician's hat disappear. One dies a mysterious death, and one disappears, never to be seen again. A strange vanishing act. But then why? How does that equate to someone from Hinamizawa being the culprit? Well, actually, Hinamizawa has this one really old legend. It's about how people offer sacrifices to Oyashiro-sama to calm his wrath. Sacrifices? Yes. They say they used to wrap a living person up in a bamboo mat and let them slowly sink down into a bottomless swamp. Who the fuck keeps texting me? Okay. Sorry if you can hear that. My phone keeps vibrating. That's fucking creepy. Takano-san, though explaining something pretty terrible, has a look of glee on her face as she did so. As far as I can glean from the literature, it actually took 3 days and 3 nights for them to sink. See, even people a long time ago liked symbolism. As the body sunk, Oyashiro-sama's anger would be quelled. Both were submerged into the deep. Takano-san was the only one laughing at this. Was she telling a joke or something? Shion didn't move to deny it, but I felt a difference in temperature between her cool expression and Takano's. This whole conversation, well, I think you can imagine after hearing it, but it's the secret history of Hinamizawa. Everyone who has been in Hinamizawa for a long time knows it, but they don't talk about it. Takano-san's not from here, but she knows quite a lot. She really likes local history, folk legends, stuff like that. She learned about it all by herself, too. I'm really not all that amazing, just curious, that's all. Like a child. I just want to see scary things for the fun of it. Tomitake-san laughed, a little bit embarrassed. Wait a minute, what does that mean? The other person who disappears during the incidents, you're saying they're offered as a sacrifice? Yeah. Shion answers in one word before anyone else can speak. Someone dies, then someone disappears. Well, they actually get sacrificed. Whether they actually get sacrificed or not is a different issue. But every time something happened in the past, one person died and one other person disappeared. For example, the first one, where the dam site manager was killed, apparently one of the people responsible for that still hasn't been arrested. Couldn't that just mean he managed to get away? I don't see why we should treat him as a sacrifice. Well, that's basically what I think too. There was also the year after that, with the leader of the dam proponents. He said he fell off a cliff and died while on vacation, right? Apparently his wife fell as well. The police investigated fervently, but they were never able to find the wife's corpse. The river under the cliff was actually pretty high at the time, though. She could have just been buried under the sand at the bottom of some lake downstream or something. The perpetrator of a dismemberment like that wouldn't want to be caught, so they'd be desperate to run away and hide too. I thought I'd heard about cases where the corpse wouldn't surface after the person drowned in a swelled river like that. She vanished because of an unfortunate accident, but I still couldn't see the connection to sacrifices. If you took each one of the past incidents in turn, none of the disappearances evoked that terrifying of an image. The year after that, with the priest suddenly falling ill and dying, is much clearer. His wife left a suicide note. They found it in their house the night the priest died. It said something along the lines of her quelling Oyashiro-sama's wrath through her death. The curse, it seemed to turn up in this one, though. Well, we may never know the truth of the matter. The swamp the wife drowned herself in was the giant bottomless one Takano mentioned before. The police investigated it, but all they could find were several of her possessions. They never found the corpse. The police suspected it was a faked suicide, and they were still investigating it now. Someone dies every year, and in the same way someone goes missing every year. Is she trying to tell me that everyone who vanished was kidnapped by some extremely efficient means and dumped into the bottomless swamp, still alive, and drowned to death? But a curse? That's unbelievable in its own right. And the next year, what was it? The dam proponent's sister-in-law? She was killed. In the same way, someone disappeared. It was a boy around my age named Satoshi Hojo. He's the nephew by marriage of the woman killed. Shion cut in with a slightly strong tone of voice. She knew the boy who had disappeared pretty well. At least that's the vibe I was getting. Well, that about sums up everything. One person always dies, and one person always suddenly disappears. Leaving the suddenness aside, the fact that each incident involved one person disappearing. So that means the first person who dies is because of Oyashiro-sama's curse, and the second person who vanishes is because the villagers sacrificed them? Is that it? My voice is cracking. Oh my god. So it's like... then it's kind of mixing the curse with the actions of a real person. Kei-chan, there is no curse. Somebody kills the first person under the guise of the curse, and somebody takes away the second person to be a sacrifice. But Shion, that means the criminal is in the village. That's what I've been guessing from the start. It's pretty shocking though, you know? We live in the Showa period. It's kind of hard to believe some people are committing murder like it's nothing, using some ancient justifications, huh? It didn't have anything to do with our discussion, but I got the feeling that maybe Shion didn't like Hinamizawa very much. Mion enjoyed talking about Hinamizawa and its epic tales, so she had avoided talking about Oyashiro-sama's curse, which didn't paint Hinamizawa in a good light, no matter how you looked at it. She was trying to not give me a bad impression of the village, so she didn't say anything. Shion, on the other hand, was somehow different. She wasn't rejecting the concept of a curse to purge Hinamizawa of this bad impression, but rather because she strongly believed that a member of the village was the criminal behind this. Her conviction seemed a bit removed from the tight sense of community held by the people of Hinamizawa. What if Shion... What if Shion doesn't like Hinamizawa, and so she's been a perpetrator at least 1 year? Or is, like, involved with it? Maybe Mion would have a motive in hiding it because she is the killer, also. Once upon a time, they all looked so alike, you could mistake one for the other. But talking to her now, I was getting a powerful feeling that Shion had a completely different personality than Mion. Than everyone else, they all think someone from Hinamizawa did it, right? Neither Shion nor Takano-san answered that. The deafening silence told me all that needed to be said. Then let me ask another question. If someone from Hinamizawa is the culprit, then who is it? Neither Shion nor Takano-san had a reply to that question either. Though it may have been rude to ask, I had hoped they wouldn't have one. The reason I asked was to argue that their explanation that the culprit from Hinamizawa was nothing more than one possibility. Shion caught on to my plan. She gave a pained smile at my petty spite and opened her mouth to speak. All I said really just amounts to circumstantial evidence anyway. If any of us knew who it really was, we'd have gotten them into police hands already. As would anybody. Then what about Takano-san? That's if you're not in on it. She too smiled dryly as Shion had opened her own mouth. Well, I'd like to clear one thing up. I'm not a detective or anything, alright? In all honesty, I'm not really interested in who the culprit is. Takano-san, you sure are a handful. Tomitake-san gives a bitter laugh at her surprising opinion on the matter. You see, I just like cruel and atrocious ancient traditions and fairy tales. I only enjoy them from a curious onlooker's perspective. So even for this string of incidents, it's not so much finding out who the culprit is, but enjoying thinking about how the old traditions displayed by the incidents themselves still seems to have some pretty deep roots around here. She sounds like a fucking weirdo that, like, gets off on, like, weird fucking tragedy and shit like that. Though she described herself as nothing more than a curious onlooker, her smile was as sharp as the tip of a blade. Women like her felt very strange and a little scary to me. Yeah, I don't blame you. Maybe it's just that I was in fearful awe of the person whose emotions I couldn't comprehend. Ugh. These headphones hurt my head. Well, I don't think any of this is interesting at all. The Wananagashi festival is coming up tomorrow, but I don't want anyone to die or disappear. Tomorrow, huh? That's right. It had completely slipped my mind. The string of murder incidents people attributed to Oyashiro-sama's curse. It wasn't over. If last year's incident wasn't the end, then tomorrow night at the festival, would someone die and someone disappear? I do wonder who will die tomorrow and who will disappear, though, Takano said, running a comb through her hair with elegant movements, with a thin smile and a voice that nearly made me shudder. She almost looked like she was enjoying the thought of the incidents that could happen tomorrow. Yeah, sounds like it. Fucking weird bitch. Then, out of the blue, we heard a loud round of applause. They seemed to be ending the drinking party early. Right, I was making Mion wait this whole time, wasn't I? I should go back to her soon. You're teasing the kid too much, Takano-san. Now Keiichi thinks it's all true. I apologize. It's that bad habit of mine again, said Takano-san, sticking out her tongue bashfully. The strangeness in her expression was nowhere to be found. When Takano-san sees an innocent child like you, she can't help but wanting to poke fun at them. It's a real bad habit. Keiichi-kun, you listened to everything so earnestly that she ended up getting carried away. Unlike Takano-san, Tomitake-san seemed like a totally normal person with common sense. They were apologizing after realizing what kind of impression they'd given me. The stuff Takano-san just said is all fiction. If it made you harbor any bad impressions about Hinamizawa, then we apologize for that. Jeez, Jiro-san. You apologize too, Takano-san. Tell him you're sorry for scaring him. Takano-san and Tomitake-san were arguing and messing around now. The strained air around us had already dissipated. Kei-chan, you should get going soon too. Mion is the jealous type. If she sees me, she'll probably start a fight, so I'll just be going home. Really? Then I'll go see what Mion's doing and apologize for making her wait, I guess. Sorry for being such a nuisance, Keiichi-kun. Could you tell Mion-san we're sorry for borrowing you for so long? Sounds like they're fucking with him at this point. Yes, I don't think telling her will make her feel any better, but sure. Tomitake-san and Takano-san, standing next to each other, both began to chuckle. I fucking hate them more now than last chapter. Okay then, Kei-chan, let's try and run into each other at tomorrow's festival. We'll see each other. I mean, it's us we're talking about after all. We'll be making so much trouble it'll be hard for you to not find us. Shion and I said our goodbyes to Tomitake-san and Takano-san. Before we could leave, Takano-san called out to us. Thanks for listening so earnestly to what I had to say. You're just so good at listening. I had a great time talking to you. Good at listening? No, not at all. I was just in a state of perpetual bewilderment from all the shocking topics being thrown at me one after another. Did you like my story today? Well, it was pretty interesting. Then I'll tell you some more sometime, okay? There's a lot of pretty interesting legends and fairy tales about Hinamizawa. Of course, a lot of strange and creepy ones, too. I'll choose a bunch of my favorites and tell you about them. I was kind of happy, but kind of worried. I can't help but smile dryly and scratch at my head. Keiichi-kun, you can go now. Takano-san is just messing with you. Then say goodbye again and run off. They say goodbye again and run off. I heard Tomitake-san call out behind him in a clear voice that we would see each other at the festival tomorrow. When I went to the tent Mion was waiting for me in, she was nowhere to be found. I made her wait so long. Maybe she got mad and went home. After asking some adults passing by, I heard that she went home, talking to some relatives. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. But my regret for having made Mion wait wasn't enough to triumph over the impression Takano-san and Shion's uncanny story left on me. Serial murder incidents had happened 4 years in a row. Would tomorrow's events make this the 5th? And the possibility that someone from Hinamizawa was carrying this all out under the guise of the curse. The queer tradition of ritual sacrifice, entirely unbecoming of the Showa period we lived in. I regretted it a little, though it was too late. If none of those creepy stories had anything to do with me, then I should have let Mion pull me away from that crowd. I felt a little ashamed about letting my cheap curiosity get the better of me. like this is the same scene that we like from the tip where we discovered Tomitake. Very creepy. We've got 4 new tips. From the scrapbook 1. Oyashiro-sama's curse. In the ancient Onigafuchi village, the anger of Oyashiro-sama, his curse, was feared above all. However, it is seldom stated anywhere what eventually happens, and what sort of divine judgment, curse, befalls them when Oyashiro-sama is angry. I need water very badly. Oh my god. Do you hear this, like, beeping in the song? Like, if you're wearing headphones, you can hear it. It's very annoying. Oops. Okay. We'll go through the tips, and then maybe I'll take a break and get some tea. It's like 5 p.m. Oh my god. Whatever. I'll finish the tips and I'll see how I feel. From various reports, all hell will break loose. Demons will come flooding out. The miasma from hell will flood outward and kill every villager, letting not a single one escape. Very interesting, the parallel of a flood, I guess. The ones evoking images of the village being annihilated stand out the most. These terrifying ideas of divine punishment are in alignment with many other religious beliefs regarding the apocalypse, hell, and it's easy to imagine that they are just ways of convincing people to obey the teachings in order to prevent such an end. Conditions for inciting Oyashiro-sama's wrath are likely the same as the taboos in Onigafuchi village. I believe that when an act was performed that violates one of these taboos, Oyashiro-sama was termed angry. And in order to quell his anger, they would perform the aforementioned sacrificial ritual. Okay. That told me really nothing, but okay. The human sacrifice ritual. The sacrificial ritual was a simple drowning involving plunging sacrifices into Onigafuchi swamp, which was considered hallowed. I'm guessing this is from the tabloid, like in the last chapter, where it was like creepy, and then it was like, oh, the fucking lucky cock ring or whatever the fuck they were advertising. Of the rituals of Onigafuchi village, this one was unique in that the sacrifice pool would sink slowly over the long course of 3 days and 3 nights. I believe that it wasn't so much the killing of this sacrifice that was important, but rather the symbolism of them sinking as the submerging of Oyashiro-sama's anger. For that purpose, they must have had a passion for learning various methods for keeping the sacrifice from sinking too quickly, to force them to sink more slowly. Okay. Unfortunately, as far as I can tell from the records, those methods were not recorded. Why would they want them to sink more slowly? Is it like they want to, like, keep the wrath? Like, they feed off of it? I've been reading 1984 recently, and so it kind of reminds me of, like, the 2 Minutes Hate, to, like, keep people in line. Like, it gives them something to be angry about, and that's what keeps them loyal. My thoughts are that they may have used logs or some similar material to create a raft, then set up a scaffold on there, hung the sacrifice up with ropes, and then let them sink little by little over time into the swamp. However, if that were the case, it would not be strange if the ritual implements used for such a ceremony were honored as holy and enshrined somewhere. Okay. Scrapbook 3. Implements used for the ritual. Ritual tools utilized for ancient religious ceremonies. Notice we hear the Higurashi this time. Maybe that's important, maybe it's not. Ritual tools used for ancient religious ceremonies are commonly referred to as implements, or ritual implements, and even now, some of them are enshrined on the property of Furude Shrine and the three families. However, the identifiable tools are all decorative, and none appear to have been used in rituals governing the dark side of Onegafuji village. As the Edo era came to a close and many traditional rituals were they lost as well, or perhaps buried in the darkness? I don't believe so. Both the implements used on the night of the feast of Onikakushi and those used during the sacrificial ceremony must still exist, enshrined away from the eyes of the masses. Without a doubt, they exist here today, at this very moment, in Hinamizawa. Also, I'm nearly certain where they've been enshrined. What was once looked steadfastly has, for some reason, changed this year to a cheap-looking padlock. He may be able to do something about such a lock. However, it is not far from the assembly hall, nor is it ever far from the presence of people. However, I will not give up. The night when it becomes a blind spot to every villager in Hinamizawa is coming soon. Soon it will be Waranagashi. Okay, I need to read that one again because, hold on. He may be able to do something about such a lock. Okay, this is a weird idea. But maybe this is written by Takano, and he that they're referring to is Tomitake? Maybe? I don't fucking know. I will not give up. Okay. That just annoys me with how mysterious it is. Festival's around the corner. Rabble, rabble, rabble. Hey, are you worn out already? Tomorrow's the real thing. We're gonna be partying until morning, until the very end of it all. Got it? Got it. I'll give it everything I've got. Haha. Well, alright then. Youth is the greatest. Good work, everyone. Tomorrow is Waranagashi at last. Let's get some shut-eye in and save our energy for tomorrow night. Tomorrow is finally Waranagashi. Festivals are split into two groups, those who enjoy them and those who support them. The former only need to prepare their minds, but the latter needs not only that, but also painstakingly crafted plans and preliminary arrangements. While the general majority attending goes about enjoying the festival without a care in the world, we'll be strained the whole way through. Why? You sure as hell know why, because the beer after everything's over is the best damn beer you'll ever have. Gwahaha. At times like these, it's best to have energetic, physically fit people. It wouldn't be worth it if you didn't do your best until the end, enjoying it the whole way. Oh, he's here. Oishi-san came in. Everyone hurried to stand up. Hello, everyone. Excellent work out there. You can be at ease. Thank you, sir. Not even my seniors, who usually talk big about themselves, can hold a candle to Oishi-san. We all bow as if we were one of those cheering squads of old. Corrado Oishi, a detective just waiting to retire, one who doesn't pay much mind to rules and regulations, and doesn't do too much in the way of real work. He looks like a rotten old man with a penchant for dirty jokes. My seniors, though, tell me he was a real fighter in his younger days, and that he may or may not have quite a heroic legend trailing behind him. Anyway, he surely had much more dignity and presence in the room than the section chief who came in with him. Everyone, I really, really thank you for your hard work on the preparations for the festival tomorrow. Everyone present stands upright and lends their ear to the chief's directions. We're on heavy alert for any thrill-seeking criminals expecting another incident like last year. I need all of you to focus your energy as much as possible in your mission to prevent any crimes from happening. Yes, sir. Of course, it would be best if nothing happened. However, everyone, please assume that an incident will, in fact, occur. Prevention is number one, but it probably won't be enough. This year, too, someone will die, and someone will disappear. There's really no doubt about it. Everyone, apart from the section chief, smiled painfully. Oishi-san, that won't do. We need to be more serious about this. The important part isn't to get past the night of the festival. It's to be able to quickly, swiftly, and aggressively pursue whatever does happen tomorrow night. I won't tolerate anything less than your best. Clench those cheeks. We're gonna rip all the skin off the ghost of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Yeah. I feel more... I don't know why, but I don't trust Oishi-san as much this time. Like, I feel like I'm being given a false sense of security about him. Alright. Whoops. Almost dropped my phone. Streamed for an hour and a half. I'm gonna grab some water and then keep going because I really want to get through a lot more of this. Okay. actually pulling a Hassan where I just like step away, but it's not like I'm letting a video play and I'm like content farming. I didn't have time to wait for tea to boil, so I just got more water and then I like drizzled some honey in my mouth, so my voice is a little bit better. Also, I got Harry Potter fruit snacks. These are Slytherin themed. God damn it. Little sorting hat. Alright. I'm gonna push myself to do one more chapter. She's in her outfit now. Ah, it's Keichkin. Good morning, good morning. Reina was ecstatically waving her arms at me, already brimming with energy. What do you mean good morning? It's already evening. Just say hello or something. But this is the first time I've seen you today, so I think good morning is right. It's right. I got it. Okay, then good morning it is. Good morning, Reina. I grabbed Reina's head and rubbed it with my hand. She squirmed, reveling reveling in the motion like a cat. Hey, Kei-chan. Sorry about yesterday. I left without telling you. No, it's my fault. Sorry for making you wait so long. Are you talking about setting up for the festival yesterday? How was it, Keichkin? Did you do your job properly? The slight muscle pain throughout my body and my sluggish movements were already obvious. I did great. I'm pretty worn out now, though. I grinned dryly and the three of us break it out into laughter. Where's Sadako and Rika-chan? Are we meeting up with them at the festival? Yep. Rika-chan's actually been there since yesterday because she has such an important job. I think Sadako-chan stayed with her, so they're already at the shrine. Right, I just remembered. Today was Rika-chan's big performance. She'd been practicing especially hard for this day. As her friend, I needed to make sure I went and cheered her on. Alright, let's go right away. Yeah. As we got closer to the shrine, we started passing by more people and seeing a lot of parked cars. It began to get noisier too, so I thought I could hear something like a Bond dance song. Without being able to restrain my impatience, I dashed up the entire flight of stone stairs. Keichkin, you're going too fast. Wait for me. Man, Kei-chan, you're such a little kid. Whoa, the shrine grounds. They were packed with people. It was a festival if I ever saw one. Wow. Why did I say that so plainly? Wow. Wow, they went all out this year too. Amazing, amazing. They're coming from Hinamizawa. Huh? The bedridden old man from the Kimiyoshi branch family is here too. I think that old guy went home from Wananagashi last year and stayed in bed ever since. Yeah, there are a lot of villagers here that I don't really know. What are you guys doing? They must have all been pouring in just for today. Hold on. Just like, I'm gonna go close the door. I'm not used to talking this long. I'm trying to increase my stamina for it, because I really do like streaming here on YouTube. They must have been pouring in just for today. Oh, it's Sadako-chan. Hey. My Voice fucking cracking again. Oh, if it isn't everyone. Yes, hello to you all. Yo, Sadako, there's a lot of people today. Don't get lost in the crowd, okay? But who do you even think you're talking to? Sadako, too, seems somehow energetic. Of course, I'm the same way. Oh. I was like, what fruit gummy is that? But it was like Ravenclaw. Which... Isn't it bullshit that Ravenclaw... Their mascot's not even a raven. It's an eagle. Like, what the fuck is that about? Sadako... Okay, blah blah blah. Whatever. Already read that. Huh? Where's Rika-chan? She still has free time, doesn't she? Rika was giving her respects to the mayor and other important people. She shall come before long. I see. Rika-chan is the shrine maiden for today's festival, after all. It's probably a pain for her to say hello to all the elders. It really is a pain. Hello, everyone. Aw, Rika-chan. I want to take you home. Rika-chan wore an immaculate shrine maiden outfit that looked fresh off the shelves. It was a perfect fit for her somehow mystical appearance. How does it fit? It's not too long, is it? My grandma gave me some safety pins just in case the sleeves are too long. It's alright. It really is comfortable. As she spoke, she began to do some twists and stretches. It's great! It's great! It's so cute! Aww. There was approximately one person here getting a nosebleed from watching Rika-chan move. Keiichi-kun, don't you think she's cute? Don't you? If you don't, then she'll be all mine, and I'll take her home with me. I think she's really cute. Totally cool. Enough that I want to pretend to be her big brother or dad and take pictures with her. If we take a picture from 2 different places and make it stereoscopic, we can eat, or rather stare at, a real-life Rika-chan at our houses whenever we want. Oh, that sounds great. That sounds fantastic. Rita's eyes and mine glittered with stars as our noses bled and we drooled. Rika, you'd best stay away from them. Yes, or I might get locked away in a basement somewhere. Haha, you look like you're enjoying it though, Rika-chan. Me, you're being harsh. We all laughed together again. Okay, let's not hang around here. Let's get to the festival. There's not much time left until Rika-chan's big debut. You're right. Great. Let's go, everyone. Yeah. Yo, if it isn't the daughter of Sonozaki, eat up. The yakisoba is packed full of pork. This year we filled it up as much as we could. We even put in fried calamari. Gotcha, old-timer. The yakisoba this year looks like quite an achievement. You have squid too. You put a ton of time into this, didn't you? Wow, it's tasty, it's tasty. Yeah, the squid is delicious, but the aroma is just fantastic. It wonderfully compensates for how soft it tends to be. There's a delightful amount of squid and pork in it too. Yep, not bad at all, I say. Kei-chan, you sound like you could walk into a cooking program and become the host. Yeah, when I see Keiichi-kun acting like it's so good, it somehow tastes even better. I don't discriminate among delicious food, so anything that I say is tasty has got to be worth trying out, right? Then Keiichi, please give us your opinion of this yakisoba again. I'll do it in 2 words. Absolutely scrumptious. If I had a second stomach, I'd buy another one right now. Having heard my 3-star rating, a whole line of people suddenly formed in front of the yakisoba stand. Wow, that's amazing. Kei-chan said it was so good that a little crowd started to form. Not bad. It was nothing to brag about, but I still decided to stick out my chest and put on airs. Oh, is that so? Then perhaps I shall try it out. Mister, could I perchance bother you for 1 takoyaki? Sadako bought a stick of takoyaki, balls of fried octopus from the adjacent stand, and after blowing on it, put one of them in her mouth. How is is it, Sadako-chan? If you give it a good rating, then Reina will buy it too. Chomp chomp, choo choo. Now it's time for the Hinamizawa Michelin judge Sadako Hojo to give her impressions. Though she was all for it a moment ago, Sadako hesitated to give it her thoughts. Hey now, what's the matter? Everyone else takes one of their own and puts it in their mouths. Huh? Reina got gypped. Mine's bad too. There's no octopus in it. This takoyaki vendor. Could this be some sort of summer festival only octopus-free takoyaki stand? An evil takoyaki stand that skimped on the octopus because they figured out it would make them good money today. Ah, mine has some. Yeah, it's pretty good considering there's octopus in it. How am I supposed to explain that this octopus-free takoyaki is any good? Everyone wondered about that. Our quizzical looks seemed to be drawing equally dubious stares from the people in line. How about this? Takoyaki without any octopus is really healthy, and even people who don't like octopus can eat this delicious takoyaki. After hearing that, several surprised guests left the line. It had the exact opposite effect. Alright then, I'll give it a try next. A self-inspired take on takoyaki in which you can clearly taste the simple flavors of the flour, green onions, and pickled ginger. The unaffected taste is bolstered by the absence of octopus. It wasn't half bad, but after hearing the "there's no octopus in it" clause, even more people left the line. Rika-chan, any good comments? You can be honest. 400 yen is too much for this. That was too honest. Even more customers left the line, dealing a lethal blow. There were other takoyaki stands around after all. Well, I mean, we might not want to be doing this. Hey Sadako, you started all this, so give us a great big turnaround. I cannot do it. How do you expect me to lavish praise upon takoyaki without any octopus in it? You idiot. Sadako's angry outburst was the finishing blow. The customers are all gone. Huh? The guy is staring at us. Why is that? Why is that? Oh. There's no saving this crowd. Perhaps I, Keiichi Maebara-sama, will lend a generous hand. Oh my fucking god, did I? Motherfucker. I didn't fucking switch back. Great. Amazing. It's the second time this has happened, which, I mean, that's not too bad. I happened to look over at the chat. Alright. H-Pin, you could do it. We want you to save the takoyaki vendor who didn't put any octopus in it. Don't smile as you say something so bitter. Alright, fine. This may be the only chance you'll get to see a pro at work, so watch carefully. I shoved the stick into an octopusless takoyaki and crammed it into my mouth. As before, there wasn't any octopus in it. But Mion's had some in it. That was the important point. The man who runs this takoyaki stand, he surely loves takoyaki, in every meaning of the word. No, it could even be said that he adores it. Eh? Everyone gasped in surprise. Is it gonna be saying that, like, he loves it so much that he wants it all to himself? Including the takoyaki vendor staring at us or something, whatever that said. This man truly does love takoyaki, and because he loves it, he doesn't want to create half-hearted, random ones. Isn't that right? The takoyaki vendor looked down, unsure. Those watching were listening intently, wanting to know why octopusless takoyaki deserved such a high rating. Keiichi-san, if you really and truly love takoyaki that much, why did he make takoyaki without octopus at all? Is he not betraying that very takoyaki? You may be right. In one sense, it is a betrayal. However, it's the best possible compromise this man could find. This man is making real takoyaki today, as he always does. However, only 1 or 2 of them on each stick are the real ones. Well, you're right, the one I ate had octopus in it, and considering it did actually have it, it didn't taste bad at all, you know? Right, it was a bona fide takoyaki, and as for the other ones, it was the biggest compromise he could make against the biases of the general populace, who all think that there need to be 8 pieces on the stick, or else it's not real takoyaki. Huh? Keiichi-kun, I don't understand what you mean. Why is one of them the real thing and all the other ones are fakes? Why? The secret lies in the octopus. Mister, this octopus, it's true Akashi octopus, isn't it? In recent years, the number of octopuses caught in Akashi have decreased, and their prices have risen drastically. The prices are now so high that you wouldn't think of using them in takoyaki. Then the man, who had been looking down this whole time, mumbled, "Yeah, that's right. Akashi octopus. It's very expensive." But this man absolutely had to have the Akashi octopus. He could have brought much worse quality octopus for cheaper as much as he wanted, and he would have still been able to fool everyone. There are plenty of other scamming takoyaki vendors who claim theirs are from Akashi, even though they're not. But this man wouldn't accept it. He wouldn't tell lies. Akashi octopus are supreme. He would never relinquish this one stubborn conviction. This man loved takoyaki. That's why he never lied. Yet, there was one point that he absolutely had to compromise on. What might that be? The number. The popular opinion is that a stick of takoyaki should have 8 pieces on it, even if it's real Akashi octopus. He couldn't charge 400 yen for just 1 piece, could he? If he didn't have 8 pieces, nobody would buy them. This man wept over it. In order to make just 1 true piece of takoyaki, he wouldn't ever let himself lie through the other 7. Oh, whoa! The octopus-free takoyaki vendor burst into tears. I gently clapped one of his shoulders. Oki, you're being suspicious. Okay. No matter what anyone else says, I will never forget how genuine you are. You, sir, are a true vendor of takoyaki. You are the only one in the world with the right to call himself that. Clap. Clap, 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 clap. As I embraced the shoulders of this man, shedding his manly tears, those watching delivered a round of applause, moved by my speech. Everyone, I beg of you, please eat some of this true takoyaki vendor's takoyaki. If we don't treasure genuine men like this, then how can we protect the true path of the takoyaki? If nobody else will eat them, then I will eat them all. Everyone watching is lining up. Keiichi-kun, you did it! You did it! I think it's more they thought Kei-chan's propaganda speech was interesting rather than the takoyaki actually looked good. Kei-chan, you could probably sell plain old rocks if you tried. You would go over well at the entrance of Akihabara Station. Rika, I've never heard of this Akihabara. Where is it? Absolutely stunned at my successful pitch, the guy manning the stall next to this one called out to me. Hey, you guys, do that for my sweets too. Great, you all get the gist of it, right? It's your turn this time, Rina. Okay, I'll do my best. Aw. When apricot sweets are cold, they're very, very good. The apricot is sitting so quietly and nicely on top of the syrup. Aw, it's so cute. I want to take it home. Aw. It looks like she lost herself in this midway through, but a girl giving it such natural praise was itself bringing in some customers. A line was quickly forming behind Reina. Next up is the okonomiyaki stand. Sadako, you're up. I forget what okonomiyaki is. What is that? It's a pancake? Cabbage pancake. Okay. Kind of like, Sort of reminds me of like a quesadilla, almost, because it's savory. I can't say it's like funnel cake. I probably don't know what I'm talking about, but that's fine. Well, the crunch of the fried tempura batter mixed with yakisoba is simply to die for. That does sound pretty good. With a huge piece of bacon laid on top, when you bite into it, it all comes flooding out. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Yeah, that's freaking great. Now I want to try some too. Then a huge line formed at my words. What on earth is this? So basically, all these onlookers are just following us around to all these stands. When people hear about food from others and then try it for themselves, it tastes a lot better than it normally would. So that's it. Even Rika-chan was gorging herself on the food, getting sauce on the bib she'd put on to prevent her shrine maiden outfit from getting dirty. Nice. The older guys are getting into it too. Okay, Kei-chan, which one should I do? Right. Mion, you go to the stand next to that. Show them the depths of your power. But Kei-chan, the stall next to that is... Whoops. A goldfish scooping stand. A bit out of our element. No, as club president, I won't flee no matter who or what my opponent. Let's get started. I look forward to a splendid performance, Mion-san. The onlookers were also watching Mion with hopeful eyes. Welcome, welcome. Here's your net and bowl. Okay, here we go. The goldfish are energetic today. They really look delicious. Small things like these, you could crunch them down whole. Mion-san, what in the world are you saying? Mi-chan, you eat them? Did you eat the one Reina caught last year too? No, I didn't say anything like that. Mion's face went red and she shook it vehemently in denial. Well, I mean, you just said so yourself that they look really delicious. Yes, you did indeed say so. Oh, fuck. Here's Shion. My sister is omnivorous. She eats anything that can go in her mouth. If they taste good, then maybe I'll try one next time. No, Rika-chan, don't. You'll get sick. Wait a second. Hey, what the hell? Shion, how long have you been here? Hey, Kei-chan, Mion, everyone. Good evening. Where did you come from, Shion? I've been here since the bit with the yakisoba. You were all so loud that I found you right away. Jeez, you've got nothing to do with this, do you? Go somewhere else already. Jeez, Mion, don't treat me so cruelly. Right, Kei-chan? You're okay with me being here, right? She asked, grabbing my arm and pushing her chest into it. Bounce. Kei-chan, you're a pervert. Your nose is bleeding. When you squish a jelly donut, the jelly comes out, right? It's the same. This isn't something I have any control over. Is that right? Then more will come out if I squeeze harder. Squeeze. Shion, her cleavage was right up against my chest. Shion, what the heck are you trying to do? How vulgar. I seem to have misjudged you. Not reading that. Not reading that. Who was it, Mion? Oh, Reina. Nice job, Reina. Everyone's so dirty. Reina punched me. It really hurts. Rika, you get what you deserve. Sheesh. Now that Shion was here, the energy around us had increased by 120%. Your friends are so much fun, Mion. I never get bored of them. Right. If you weren't here, it would be way more fun, you know. Haha. I want to stay with you all, but if I continue seducing Kei-chan, my sister looks like she's literally going to bite my so I'll retreat for now. I'll be back. See you, Neon. Don't be back. Get the salt. Someone get the salt. After teasing her older sister so much, Shion ran into the crowd of people and disappeared. I feel that I had borne witness to a rare side of Neon. When Mi-chan is with Shi-chan, she looks kinda cute. Rena smiled happily, earning her a whack on the head from Neon. Don't say dumb stuff, let's get to the next stand already. We went about just like that, really noisy and lively, to the other stands. We were paying money towards the beginning, but midway through the guys running the shops thought we were just too funny, and we ended up being able to fool around without paying much more. Nice. Thump. The vigorous sound of a big taiko drum echoed through the air. Rika, it looks like it's time. Okay. Yep, looks like it. Right, it's just about time for Rika-chan to appear in the offertory dance? Okay. I'm a little nervous. Believe in yourself. All your sweat will definitely amount to something, Rika-chan. Mion slapped hard on Rika-chan's back. That's right. You'll do fantastic, Rika. I'll do my best. Yeah, that's the spirit. I ball my hand into a fist and raise it into the air. We're rooting for you, Rika-chan. Go for it, yay. Remember? Go for it, yay. Rika-chan gave the best smile I'd ever seen, then pivoted on her heel and ran off. Okay, we should get going too. Right, let's go cheer her on. You mustn't. You must keep silent during the performance. I got it, jeez. I rubbed a hand through her hair. She was worried about her good friend up to the end. Then we better hurry. All the good spots will be taken. Come on. Mion ran off, and everyone else followed a moment later. Oh, he's in the corner now. He's loafing on top of a shirt. A large amount of people had already clustered into the tight space to watch the edifying dance. Oh, he's back. Hi, Oki. Hi. Are you gonna balance on the armrest? Say hi to everyone. He's shy. Mion ran off and everyone else followed a moment later. A large amount of people had already clustered into the tight space to watch the edifying dance. Okay. You gotta go somewhere else, Oki. Yeah, I'm sorry, but... Oh, ow! Ow! I forgot he doesn't like being picked up. He scratched me. Whoops. Sorry, Oki. Oh my god, please. Damn, I'm gonna have to get a band-aid. Is my lipstick rubbed off at this point? Not really. Okay, Queen's gonna... Queen wants in the room. spot I've put a band-aid. It's like almost on my armpit. Okay, Queen, come on. Come on, go. I'm hoping she won't scratch the door, but she might. Okay. Wow, this is a lot of people. I turned around to look at everyone else, but nobody was there. Where did everyone go? They probably got lost among all these people. Finally, I spotted the back of Mion's head on the other side of the crowd. It definitely doesn't look like it can get over there. Well, we got separated, no big deal. Oh god. Fucking Takano and Tomitake are gonna... Hey, you wanna talk about more creepy stories? Cause we're fucking weirdos? We can just meet back up when Rika-chan's dance is over. I gave up on finding the others and wandered around, trying to look for a place where I'd be able to... see better. It didn't take long for me to realize I'd have to settle for watching between the heads of the people in front of me, though. God damn it. Thump. Once again, an even louder taiko drum resounded. This one was to announce the beginning of the dance. I couldn't see very well, but it seemed like Rika-chan had come on stage with the elders, who were in priestly garb. I heard low exhalations of admiration, and the seniors rubbing their prayer beads in gratitude. Everyone's heads were in the way. I couldn't see. It was really frustrating. We should have cut playtime short and come here to get good spots earlier. After Rika-chan intoned the prayer, she took the festival hoe and walked to the pile of quilts stacked on the altar. That's right. The point of the ceremony was to purify bedding and hold a memorial service, wasn't it? Then the solemn offertory dance began. She had practiced using a mochi pounding mallet. The awkwardly shaped festival hoe Rika-chan held seemed really heavy. Back and forth, up and down. It was doubtlessly difficult to even lift in the air, but she sweated and waved, raised and dropped it again and again. She couldn't just deal with it and do it grudgingly. As the shrine maiden, she needed to retain the dignity and solemnity present at this festival. There must be a ton of pressure on Rika-chan's shoulders right now. Damn, why am I cheering her on from a place I can barely see her? I'm her friend, so I should be right up in the best spot rooting for her. Oh god, he's gonna embarrass himself. Kei-chan, over here. Someone tugged lightly on the back of my shirt collar. It was Shion. She beckoned me outside to the crowded ring of people. She had a mischievous grin on her face, and I took it as her saying she knew a good place nobody else knew of. Shion, what's up? Shh, just be quiet and come with me. After she told me so, she ran in a big detour around the throng. Man, it's great to have someone who knows the lay of the land here at times like this. Impressed though I was, I nearly lost sight of her right away. No more getting separated from me. I ran after her so I wouldn't be left behind. As I wondered in anticipation, why did I say that weird? What kind of secret spot Shion had in mind, we left the crowd of people and went around to the back of the shrine grounds. Hey, wait, where are we going? We're getting further and further away. Shh, just stay quiet and follow me. You'll understand soon. Shion gave me a wink that reminded me of Mion when she said that. No sign of people, and not much moonlight. It was dark. We had gotten pretty far away from the crowd of people on the shrine grounds. How are we supposed to see Rika-chan's dance from here? I see. There's some high spot around here, isn't there? Like a rooftop or somewhere we can look down on it, right? Why do we have to climb onto the roof? How else are we supposed to see Rika-chan's dance? Did you really want to see Rika-chan's dance? Kei-chan, could it be that your strike zone is really low? I don't think we're understanding each other here. Weren't you going to show me somewhere I could see Rika-chan's dance from easily? What? Who made that promise? What's going on? Why me? Why do I always misunderstand Shion? Is it my fault? Am I just reading the wrong things into it? Then why did you call me all the way out here? With an expression that indicated she wasn't fooling around, Shion pressed her index finger to my lips, and she said slowly and quietly, "This place is a dark, dead, empty, spot. You can't see it from the festival grounds, and now a male and female of the same age are all alone together. Could this be? Shion, she's not planning something crazy again, isn't she? Shh, look over there, see?" Shion whispered, pointing into the dark underbrush. And there we saw 2 figures, one male and one female. What's that? Is that? We're right at the scene of a rendezvous, of course. See, look closely. Can you tell who they are? I peered intently into the dark at Shion's suggestion. Oh, it's Tomitake-san and Takano-san. The 2 of them were clearly breathing quietly and glancing around to make sure nobody knew they were there, as I crouched before the entrance to a wooden storehouse-like building. Okay, I fucking thought so with the tips that it was them. Wait, Shion, could this be what you wanted to show me? Kei-chan, you can see Rika-chama's dance any year, but you won't ever get another chance like this, okay? I had thought the Sonozaki sisters each had their own personalities, but at times like this they seemed all too similar. I'm going back. Don't call me for something like this again. If you move now, they'll see us. At our noisy argument, Takano-san suddenly turned around. Oh, my. Who might that be? We held our breaths and tried to wait it out, but it seemed like Takano-san was now acutely aware of our presence. Shion and I exchanged glances, then gave up and climbed out from behind the bush. Well, hello there. The moon sure is beautiful tonight, isn't it? My. If it isn't Shion-chan and Mayabara-kun. Good evening. Yes, the moon certainly is pretty. What's this? Keiichi-kun, you sure are smart, you know that? Having a secret date in a place like this? Then I guess we accidentally interrupted something important. You're the ones who were meeting up secretly. Tomitake-san and Takano-san laughed to themselves, and it got on my nerves for some reason. Wait, so you 2 weren't having a little rendezvous then? Of course we weren't. Though I don't dislike that kind of romance. Unfortunately, this wasn't the location of a rendezvous either of you would want to see. Sorry for not living up to your expectations. If this wasn't a rendezvous, then what were you doing? Tomitake-san, were you messing around with the padlock on the door just now? Huh? After she said that, I looked at the 2 of them again, and I definitely saw it. They were hunched in front of the warehouse door, fiddling with a pretty heavy-looking padlock. Guess we've been found out, huh? We were trying to break into the warehouse, but don't tell anyone, alright? Don't tell anyone. Are you thieves or something? I demanded unthinkingly, but just because of how absently Tomitake-san was grinning. Nah, never. Thieves are people who steal things, right? It's not like we were trying to take anything out of here. I see. Then why are you trying to unlock the door? This is the forbidden storehouse for ritual tools. They say only the Furude family and a mere handful of others are allowed in. Forbidden storehouse. I took a few steps back at that and looked on at the entire warehouse. It certainly looked like one, built removed from any signs of people, almost as if in secret. It was filthy, revealing how little it was ever opened. And it was built to be durable, giving it a strange, overpowering impression. Now that I looked at it more closely, it was certainly different than normal warehouses. This place, they're called ritual implements. Basically, this is a warehouse store where they store such tools used in rituals. Well, more accurately, maybe it's a temple where the implements are enshrined. The ritual hoe Rika-chan is using for the offertory dance was inside here until today. Of course, if anyone but the Furude family enters, they bring impurity into it. So absolutely no one is allowed a single step inside it. It's a sanctuary. Shouldn't we absolutely not be coming to a place like this then? However, Takano was wearing a childlike expression, an innocent smile at best, and terribly cruel grin at worst. I told you I was researching Hinamizawa's folktales and legends out of an interest in them, didn't I? A lot of the answers to questions I'm curious about are hidden away inside here. I've waited all this time until today for this chance. A chance. Everybody's eyes were fixed on the dance at the shrine grounds today. This was the ultimate blind spot. I see. I didn't know you had lockpicking skills, Tomitake-san. Stop it. I don't want to be doing this, okay? Sorry for taking you along with me, but this was all thanks to you, Jiro-san. I really am grateful. Sheesh, this is the only time. Understand, Takano-san? I don't want to be sneaking into places like this. You really are a good person, Jiro-san. Clink. Tomitake-san undid the padlock and placed it to the side. It's open. Thank you. At long last. Takano-san gulped. With an unusually excited air about her, she gave the heavy door a shove. The sharp smell of mold and dust flowed out from the gap in the doors. I had claimed curses didn't exist, but in this situation, I could believe in them. If we went into such a holy place with our shoes on, it felt like we could be punished somehow. How about it? Your accomplices too. You came all the way here, so why not come in and take a tour? Or take the tour. It'll be a little field trip to a museum of precious cultural artifacts that conceal the secret history of Hinamizawa. And it's only open today. We're not accomplices or anything. Aren't you interested, though? Come on, let's take a peek, Shion said predictably, linking her arm with mine. But we definitely shouldn't be doing this. This is a holy warehouse, isn't it? You said ritual implements, right? I really feel like we shouldn't go in. I'm a part of the Sonozaki family, so I have a good guess as to what we'll find in there. But I want you to see it too, Kei-chan. You want to show something to me? I thought it was just a ploy, but Shion's eyes looked entirely serious. Of course, she was the sort who could lie with a straight face. Of course, I was an average boy too. My curiosity was at least twice that of a normal person. Sleeping, forbidden treasures, never to leave this warehouse. Chances like this don't come around too often. If I had to choose, then I want to see. Until the locked door is open, though, I don't know about this. If you're not interested, Kei-chan, then you can leave now. I think you'll wonder about it later, though. Tomitake-san spoke after listening to our discussion, himself having sat down on the stairs after to take a short rest. I'll keep watch here. Go in and check it out with them. I'm not too interested, but it might be pretty interesting for a young guy like you, Kei-kun, he said, laughing mischievously. There was no ill will in his laughter. Tomitake-san, do you know what's in there? Kind of. Takano-san told me all about it. Must be a pain to have to go along with your companion's unique hobbies, huh? Tomitake-san didn't answer that, only responding with a pained smile. Takano-san had this kind of scary air about her, like she'd drop absolutely everything else for something she had an interest in and go straight for it. But Tomitake-san, on the other hand, seemed like the gold standard of what a normal person should be. Having him tell me so frankly to go check it out suddenly made the guilt feel lighter. Okay, but just a little. If it's not interesting, I'm leaving. You got it. Shion gave me another Mion-like wink. I need water to prepare for this. Looks like we're decided. Shall we go inside? Jiro-san, we'll leave this to you. Tomitake-san waved his hand to see us off. Our charger's in the other room. The inside was pitch black, but Takano-san turned on the battery-powered lantern she brought, revealing a pretty cramped front room. It's so dark in there. In here. Everyone, take care not to trip over anything. I appreciate the concern. Okay, doorman, keep a good watch. We're shutting the door now. Takano-san smiled spitefully, as if leaving Tobitaki-san out of something fun, and began to close the door. Man. Alright, everyone, have fun. The fucking suspense here. Jesus Christ. There was a low, heavy, and loud noise, and we were completely cut off from the outside world, and covered in silent darkness. Takano-san's lantern was the only light we had. It'll be fine. It's an outdoor lantern with backup batteries inside. It won't go out or anything. Looks like Takano noticed my uneasy expression. I couldn't help but blush a little and avert my gaze. Deeper inside, there was a heavy and old but sturdy door with solemn decorations on it. It was the last door sealing away what was within. Strange how it had an antechamber, even though it's just a warehouse, isn't it? I believe it's set up this way so that you open one door at a time, never letting the room with all these tools be seen from the outside. Takano explained this, awfully impressed by the construction. But still, it's really dark in here. Huh? That, over there, it's... I spotted a circuit breaker hanging from a clump of wiring, clumsily attached to the wall. Oh, here, isn't this the light switch or something? I flipped the biggest switch I can find, and with a click, the pitch-black room was illuminated by an old, bare light bulb. Everyone scrunched up their faces at the sudden strobe-like brightness. Don't... Before she even finished, Shion slapped my hand and flipped the switch back. There was another loud click, and the room returned to darkness, with only the lantern for illumination. Ow! You can't, Kei-chan. We snuck in here, remember? If you turn on the light, it might give us away. I'm scolded by Shion fairly harshly. It looked like she was worried about whether or not someone had seen them from the momentary light. Kei-chan's a fucking idiot. It's alright. It was only for a moment. Takano-san remained a relaxed adult. It seemed like she was confident she could talk her way out of it if someone did see us. Let's go in. Here we go. There. The even heavier door opened, and this time it wasn't just the dust that came out with the air. There was also a nasty smell. One smell was like opening a dust-filled cupboard in the back of a kitchen that hadn't been opened in years. And the other smell, the nasty one, was hard to explain, but it was like the raw odor of a fish market. From how the sound echoed, the room felt far larger than the first. Takano-san held up her lantern and revealed the contents of the expansive room. Whoa. At the back wall of the storehouse, right in front of us, was a Buddha-like holy object, standing there, looking down at us. I was taken aback by its unseen force, lit up by the slender beam of the lantern. That's the guardian god of Hinamizawa, Oishiro-sama. It's far grander than the one at the shrine. Oishiro-sama. So this is the spirit protecting Hinamizawa. The one guarding the holy land of Hinamizawa from the impurities of the outside world, and the one delivering punishment after punishment upon those who attempted to sully the land with the dam construction. It looks like there are far more tools stored here than I thought, but this is so sad. None of them have been maintained. How unfortunate that they're in such a state. Even in the dim light, I could see a lot of strange objects lining the walls, ceiling and shelves. Takano-san, speaking as if in a trance, was infatuated by the various implements filling the dark room. They weren't very festival-like or traditional, but instead, there was more like the workshop of this was more like the workshop of a blacksmith or a carpenter. There were a lot of wooden and metal tools packed in here. Putting it bluntly, it was all pretty boring stuff. I'd imagine there would be more artistic things in here from the Heian period, but these are a far cry from being cultural artifacts. My expression betrayed my dashed hopes, and they caught on right away. Oh, is this not interesting for you? I'm not into literature or art, so I can look at this stuff, but I don't really understand its value. Keiichi-kun, you really do look like you don't get it. I guess that's only natural. Takano-san reached into a paper bag that she'd been holding the whole time and took out a worn scrapbook and began to flip through it. Then just for you, Keiichi-kun, I'll tell you an old story. It's a common tale in this region. If you go to the library, it would even be on their recommended reading list. Telling stories in such a dark, creepy place? She must have a horror story in mind. Shion's face belied nothing but calm. If she had the same personality as Mion, she'd have found fault with me being scared. I'll endure it for now and pretend to be calm. Okay. Alright, I'll read it. After confirming that I was going to be quiet and listen, she began to speak softly, like a kindergarten teacher reading a picture book. Long, long ago, in a certain village in the mountains, there was a swamp. This swamp was very, very deep. Some even called it bottomless. People said it was connected to hell, the land of demons. The rumors said it was deeper than the ocean, and that anyone it swallowed would sink into the underworld, the bottomless swamp. Its name was Onigafuchi. Wait, I thought back to the story I heard yesterday about the sacrifices, sinking in the bottomless swamp. Could that be the swamp she's talking about? Yes, you fucking idiot, Keiichi. I hate Keiichi sometimes. So then the village was Hinamizawa, right? You catch on quickly. That's right. Though it was called Onigafuchi Village at the time. Onigafuchi Village. It's a pretty inauspicious name. It evokes quite the image, doesn't it? I hear that the name was changed in the Meiji period. The name of the swamp connected to hell was called Onigafuchi, which meant the demon's abyss. And the true name of this village, Hinamizawa, was Onigafuchi Village. The villagers belonged to that abyss, or to hell, in other words. They lived their lives worshipping the swamp said to connect to it. But then one day, demons began to appear, one after the other, from deep in the swamp. The villagers feared that hell was overflowing. Demons mercilessly attacked the villagers. They could only watch in fear. They could do no more than hide themselves and tremble. So did someone exterminate them? Unfortunately, there is no Momotaro or Superman in this fairy tale. Then, did they get the whole village together and fight them? Heavens, no. The villagers weren't nearly strong enough to fight on equal terms with the demons. Then, the only recourse would be to flee the village. They couldn't do that either. To the villagers, it was their beloved homeland. It didn't matter how terrifying the demons. They wouldn't have run away so easily. Then, what did they do? Wouldn't they just get wiped out? Unable to fight, and unable to run. All they could do was wait for the village to be destroyed. Then, when everyone had lost hope, their god, Oyashiro-sama, descended onto them. I see. So Oyashiro-sama came down from the sky and beat up all the demons then. You're such a boy, Kei-chan. You always jump straight to using force to resolve things. Shion sighed, a little annoyed. Embarrassed, I held my tongue. The thing about Oyashiro-sama, he wasn't a violent god who would beat them up, like you're saying. He was a kind god, filled with love and benevolence. The strength of Oyashiro-sama descended from the heavens. Couldn't be compared to that of the demons. They didn't even fight. They simply prostrated themselves before his radiant authority. Oyashiro urged them to go back to hell from whence they came, but the demons wept and challenged him, saying they could never return. The world of the demons, too, has harsh commandments. They claimed they had been banished from hell. Demons who didn't have a place to go, either in hell or in the human world. Of course, they were at fault for attacking the village. They deeply reflected on it and were sorry. As the villagers conversed among themselves, little by little they came to pity the demons, and after talking with everyone in the village, they decided to live alongside them. A lot of fairy tales have them being exterminated or driven away, but you don't often hear one where they live in peace. You're right. demons are supposed to symbolize all evils. A story where they decide to live together with humans is certainly strange. Jesus fucking Christ, that's loud. When the demons first heard the villagers' invitation, they doubted their ears, but soon burst into tears of joy. The villagers had given them a place to live. It was said that in payment for this good deed, the demons shared their many kinds of power and secrets with the villagers. Oyashiro-sama was very pleased with this happy exchange. He gave the demons the bodies of humans so that they would be indistinguishable from the villagers. He himself decided to stay on the surface and watch over the everlasting peace between them. A land in which man, demon, and God lived together. I had thought the word demon was a noun meaning evil that needed to be exterminated. A god may have mediated for them, but you don't often hear happy endings like that where both sides live in harmony. I see. I guess it is kind of interesting. Although the I said normie. I need to take a second. I'm saying things that aren't on the screen. I don't know what the fuck they're listening to downstairs. It is fucking freezing in here. I have a sweater, but Oki's laying on it. Although the normal fairy tale ends here, or there, it was revised quite a bit during the Edo period into a much longer story. After that, the humans and demons intermixed, and eventually there was no difference between them. So the demons ended up disappearing? No, not at all. Half of them stayed just as they were. The knowledge the villagers had received from the demons basically made them into something inhuman, what people call transcendent. Interesting. They were well aware the power they had was heresy, and as those below worshipped them, they lived out their lives in secrecy. This story is the root of many derivative tales and pieces of fiction. It's the foundation, I mean, the basis. What do you mean by root? She means the part about the villagers having demon blood. What I mean is, all the legends from around here are based on the premise that the villagers are descended from demons. There was a hint of amusement in Shion's face as she said that. It was like she wanted to say that she too had demon blood in her. Is there any proof, though? Maybe it's somehow rooted in historical fact beyond just fairy tales. Oh. Maebara-kun, then do you believe that demons really did come out of the swamp and breed with humans? Well, it's not that I don't believe it, but... When she said demon, she meant the ones from hell, but in ancient Japan, the word wasn't necessarily used to denote only that, right? The more well-known use involves the drifting foreigner theory. As the story goes, Westerners who were shipwrecked in nearby seas had such markedly different customs that they were called demons. Japanese people were relatively similar in appearance to other Asians, but everything about those from the West was different. Their physiques, their faces, and their skin color. In Japan, terms like red demon and blue demon evoke images especially of Westerners. Lacking in skin pigments, Westerners would sunburn easily and turn red. Being fair-skinned, I think blood vessels appearing on their skin would look blue too. A handful of accidental aliens would drift into Japan and came under persecution, being called demons. They would flee into the mountains to survive and turn into bandit groups and attack villages for food and the like. How does that explanation sound? Maybe it's a bit childish. Takano gave me a weird smile, having come up with such an impromptu hypothesis. I unconsciously followed it with self-deprecation. Still, she didn't smile as if to make fun of me. It's not ridiculous. There are a lot of people who subscribe to the drifting foreigner theory. Even so, nobody actually knows what happened. Were they groups of foreigners who had turned to banditry? Or were they really demons who had come from the bottom of the world? Then, Takano-san, which one do you believe? The truth of the matter aside, I'd rather believe the more fantastic explanation. It's more fun that way, isn't it? Her answer made her sound a wee bit like a romanticist. Here I thought she'd reject unrealistic stories like that. Now then, this is where the fun begins. Takano-san brought an end to her storytelling and waits for a moment as if to tantalize us. Suddenly Shion looked around as if something had caught her eye. Her head bobbed to and fro like she was making sure nothing had changed. What's wrong, Shion? I'm sorry. Please don't worry about it. Shion pretended as though nothing had happened. Takano-san also made sure nothing had happened, then cleared her throat and broached the next subject. I explained that half the villagers have demon blood. That blood, they actually say, it's the blood of the kind of demon that eats people. Man-eating demons? That escalated quickly. That blood still runs through the villagers' veins. They say that sometimes the blood awakens from its slumber. I thought the fairy tale had a happy ending, with the humans and demons living in peace, but it began to suddenly change into a brutal, bloody story. Well, they eat people. They say that every decade or so, they can't help but want to feast on human flesh. The villagers can't eat other villagers, so when this happens, it's said that they descended on the human villages and conducted onikokushi. What's an onikokushi? Broadly speaking, it's when a demon kidnaps someone, when a person is demoned away. They say that the villagers of Onigafuchi would overwhelm unfortunate villages in order to kidnap sacrifices. Takano-san's explanation was plain and simple, but when I imagined what it must have been like, it was terrifying. They lose their human reason. The villagers turn into real demons en masse. They attack the villages they loathe in the dirty world of the masses below. And then they kill and eat their sacrifices. So they're no different from demons after all. What did Oyashiro-sama do? Wasn't he supposed to be staying in the village and watching over them? Oyashiro-sama knew about it, of course. Onikokushi isn't indiscriminate. The villagers apparently never kidnapped anyone other than the sacrifices decided upon by their god. In the text, it's usually one or two people. A village inhabited by those human and inhuman. It was like the heartwarming episode's colors had inverted, like negative film, revealing the painful and ugly truth. So on the nights when they raided the villages, they would feast on their kidnapped sacrifices, which is why the nights came to be known as Waranagashi. Waranagashi. Tonight's festival was Waranagashi. Great job, Keiji. You figured. Oh my god. The plot exposition is kind of painful sometimes. I just couldn't reconcile the fun festival with the horrible tale Takano-san was telling me. Waranagashi, well, wasn't it about giving thanks to the futons we use over the winter or something? Kei-chan. Wata has another meaning, you know? It means entrails. Shion, who had been silent until now, spoke up. Entrails? Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. Like fish guts. Wait, what? Like a jigsaw puzzle, the fun times I had today and Takano-san's grotesque tale clicked together in my mind. Waranagashi. So, gut spilling. I didn't think saying that could ever feel so nauseating. Yes, it's as you imagined, Mayabara-kun. Right now, the Umineko festival might just be a somewhat early summer festival occurring every June. But it used to be different. It used to be a ghastly cannibalistic feast, held on the night the villagers had collected their unfortunate dinner. That can't be true. I had no real reason to say that, but I couldn't help it. Mayabara-kun, you said that Umineko is a ritual about purifying futons, right? What do you think the futons, filled with cotton, with wada, represent? Futons are futons. They're beds. They're things for sleeping in. What else could they possibly represent? I was rattling on, desperately attempting to deny the horrible festival that Takano-san was describing. Deep down, however, I found myself understanding all too well what she meant. Futons, stuffed with cotton, if the cotton represented entrails in both pronunciation and meaning, then entrail-filled futons would have to be humans. Why don't you think back to the offertory dance Rika-chan performed? Do you know what she was doing up there? No, I don't. I didn't even watch the whole thing anyway. Shh, Kei-chan, you're getting too worked up. Shion grabbed one of my ears, reminding me that this wasn't somewhere I should raise my voice. Even so, I still can't suppress this agitation I feel. Rika-chan was carrying a festival hoe. You probably realized it already, but that's not a hoe for plowing fields. It's a tool for dissecting human bodies. I didn't see the dance all the way through, so I don't know what kind of performance Rika-chan was putting on after I'd left. When I told this to Takano-san, she kindly explained Rika-chan's dance to me. To summarize what she said, after what I'd seen, Rika-chan would pierce the futons with that hoe, cut them open, and pull out the cotton inside. She'd cut the cotton out, one bit at a time, and set it afloat. That's the kind of ritual it was. Broadly speaking, it was quite the bombastic ceremony, where they'd rip out the guts and throw them into a basin, and then the ritual was over. It's thought that afterwards the villagers, each with a different role, dismantled the flesh piece by piece and feasted upon it. At Takano-san's strangely happy giggle, I felt, for some reason, violent displeasure. Rika-chan, every day during our lunch break, she'd take a rice-pounding mallet into the schoolyard, and she'd work so hard, sweating bullets, to practice for the offertory dance she had done today. All that effort, all that work, Takano-san disgraced it, even though she worked so hard to practice for today. Takano-san, I think you should choose your words more carefully. Kei-chan's pretty naive, so please don't tease him so much. A moment before I opened my mouth to express how angry I was, Shion stopped me. Shion must have been fully aware of how that story made me feel. I'm sorry. I thought you'd like a story with that sort of shock value, since you're a boy. Takano-san spoke without a hint of malice as she smiled gracefully. After hearing all that, did you figure out what kind of stuff is in this storehouse, Kei-chan? See, look. Shion pointed out at one of the walls vaguely illuminated by the lantern's light. There was, mere moments ago, they hadn't held my interest. They were just boring-looking tools lined up on the shelves. Ugh. All those uninteresting tools that I didn't understand how to use. They all suddenly took on a new meaning, and I couldn't help but let out a groan. At first they looked like carpentry tools, like chisels or planes. However, when I thought back, I'd seen pictures of these tools before. Yeah, they came up in a Japanese history textbook. Yes, on the page introducing the Kaitai Shinsho, or the new text on anatomy. These sorts of things, they're printed realistically in the literature of Germany, capital of the medical world. These aren't carpentry tools. These strangely shaped tools, they're for dissection. Everyone knows that in the Edo period, they would put the Everyone knows that in the Edo period, they would dissect the corpses of those who had been put to death in order to gain knowledge about Western medical techniques. Illustrations of the dissection tools they used at the time came up in textbook supplements. The things hung up on this wall all looked exactly the same as those. If you you want a scarier way of looking at it, think of them as cooking utensils. Takano-san, holding the lantern, the only light source in the room, led us along the wall. She had the only light, so I had to walk after her whether I liked it or not. Water break, because I am starting to slur my words right now. Look, Takano-san illuminated a coiled chain, which left a bigger impression than the other things we saw. The chain in itself was nothing unusual, but further along it were metal fetters that were like hinges, clearly meant for binding people. Kei-chan, look at that. Shion tapped me on the shoulder and pointed to a restraining table that was clearly shaped like a person. My spine froze. My blood felt like it was turning into sherbet as it crawled up my back. Each one of the joints, there were things like chains and iron balls attached. It was like the table was searching for its next sacrifice, ready to spread their arms wide and close them in. It's probably a chopping block. I think you'd strap the sacrifice down to prep them for eating. The words chopping block sent a jolt through my body. When I looked more closely, there were many dark slices carved into it, as though from a knife or a saw. They were the most clear-cut signs of usage you could ask for. It proved these tools weren't just for show. They were used for their original purpose. If someone was strapped tightly onto this table, they probably wouldn't be able to move even a muscle. Their guts would be defenseless. You'd take one of those eerie cooking knives lined up over there, stab them with it, and then you'd slice open their belly and dissect them? I'd heard the stories, but this is incredible. Before coming in here, Shion had mentioned she had a good guess of what was inside, but it seems to have exceeded her imagination. There's still more. How about it? More fascinating than a wax museum, isn't it? Takano-san had this happy expression, like she was visiting a toy store for the first time. I don't get it. This Mio Takano person had nerves of steel. Are these bizarre, grotesque objects that fascinating to her? I, for one, was not enjoying myself. I'll be frank, this was all too weird for me. Still, there was something even more horrifying than all this. That would be none other than Takano-san herself. Takano-san holding the lantern, giving off such a thin beam of light. If she suddenly turned it off, then what would I do then? The next moment, everything went totally dark. That's why I was scared. Takano-san had the only light. And anyway, I was scared. At some point, Shion had started holding onto my shirt sleeve. It was a little annoying to walk like that, but I didn't shake her off. That minor sensation allowed me to feel the presence of an ally, here and now. Before we had even walked halfway through the storehouse, the air I felt on my skin changed completely. These cruel tools lined up, all crammed together in this place. Some were horrible ones made to take away sacrifices' freedom. And some were tools made to efficiently disassemble and prepare their bodies for consumption. Those were just the things I understood. There were plenty of other strange-looking objects that I couldn't even guess the purpose of. Now that I was here, I didn't have the slightest desire to hear the details about what sort of terrifying reasons they were meant to be used for. At the very least, they were all completely different from the sort of clean, simple killing function of a katana. Tools to kill people were obviously constructed in such a way that they could kill people. If that was the goal, then the person you used them on, obviously, would end up dead. The kinds of tools here, however, were different. The tools that were here were for cutting people, for crushing them, for boiling them and cooking them, and for grinding them. were tools of torture. They weren't made to kill people. People dying was just an incidental result. Actually, they might not even kill them. If the sacrifices could die such a horrifying ritual process, that would be nice, but they don't even die in the end. They remain in a state of hellish pain. Perhaps they were only being allowed to live. Only now, in this moment, did I fully realize just how terrifying and fearsome that difference was. People, you see, most of these wouldn't kill them if used properly. Takano-san, as if reading my mind, displayed a shocking smile. Burning at the stake, the famous method of execution for witches, will kill the person immediately. I hate that shit. Ugh. Okay, I have no back support right now. Do you understand? He doesn't care. Oh my god. Ugh. Okay. When the body suffers extreme burns on the skin all over, the decomposition of the skin's chemical makeup produces poison-like symptoms and causes an immense shock to the victim. Though I suppose it's still very cruel compared to the guillotine, you have to wait far longer for that to happen. She described such horrors in a strangely medical way. Shion immediately answered the question I had. Takano-san is a nurse. There's a saying that nothing can scare a doctor. I guess it's true. Oh, and also, there was a method of execution in ancient Rome where they would grill the person. Just like a barbecue, they would cover the person in wire netting and slowly cook them over a charcoal fire. To think the memories of when I went to a day camp with my family would come rushing back now of all times so vividly. That's what it was like. Apparently they wouldn't die too easily for some reason. According to one source, even if they roasted one side of a person to a crisp for an entire night, they would still be conscious and be able to speak fluently. That's insane. You'd grill someone the whole day and they'd still be conscious? It's said that ancient Rome, famous for their executions, thought of plenty of ways to execute someone while having the victim stay alive as long as possible. Bless you, Goliath. Among them, there was one method where they would open the gut, pull out the intestines like sausages, pull them up with a winch, and put them on a public display. Shion was behind me, clinging to me. Not just because she was scared, she was protecting her stomach. You would think someone with their intestines pulled out would die instantly, right? Actually, as long as you do it tenderly and thoroughly, it's apparently possible to pull them all out while the person is still conscious. I felt a sick feeling in my stomach. It's like my organs were coiling up just from Takano-san's stare. Though pulling them out with a winch was a rather exaggerated method. In a more barbaric way, they might slice open the gut, then cut the intestines out and throw them everywhere. It's quite imaginable that they did dreadful things like that too, isn't it? However, those being put to death are conscious. It must be far more terrifying than painful. She spoke with pleasure, as if she had come here on a sightseeing trip. I heard Shion gulping multiple times near my ears. Perhaps Hinamizawa, or rather Onigafuchi village, did something like that for the Wananagashi festival. Listen, if you try hard, can't you hear it? I wanted nothing more than to hear anything at all. So why? Why only at times like these do I begin to hear things I shouldn't be able to? It's like that sound means like a curse is being set forth, is kind of the implication there. Takano-san, having realized she'd scared Shion and I enough at this point, smiled soothingly. Then she turned on her heel, raised the lantern, and began to walk again. If Takano-san left us here, we'd get even further away from the light. Shion and I, no matter how scared we were forced to follow Takano-san on her field trip through the ritual storehouse. I suppose we've seen a bit of everything. See? This place is interesting, isn't it? She says, raising the lantern high in the center of the storehouse. The dim lighting didn't change, but for some reason, it felt like I was able to see all of those horrible tools at once. Kei-chan, look up. Shion stammered while grabbing the nape of my neck. I couldn't tell because it was so dark, but there was a lot more tools hanging from the ceiling as well. They all looked like they were made of iron bars. But then I figured it out. Cages. For cages, they were very small. Cramped cages just for one, like a casket. If you got locked up in there... No, you wouldn't get locked up inside it. It was another tool meant for restraining people, where the iron bars would squeeze you tightly. So many, big and large, things of all shapes were hanging down. Takano-san's mention of execution by grilling crosses my mind. We weren't just surrounded on all sides by these terrifying instruments. Things crowding the ceiling were even hanging over our heads. There are many of these sort of bird cages among European torture devices. I'm surprised to see them in Japan as well. Kei-chan, is there something in there? A person? A mummy? Where? Shion desperately pointed to one of the many human-sized bird cages hanging from the ceiling, but I couldn't tell which one she meant. Being that dark, there wasn't any way you could tell if something was there in the first place. I don't see anything. You sure you're not seeing things? Shion didn't seem convinced, but without a means to confirm for ourselves, we couldn't do much but wonder. Maebara-kun, after seeing this, have you come to believe in all of it? The countless terrible rituals passed down in Hinamizawa? It's got nothing to do with believing in them. Now that I've been shown the real thing like this, there's no possible way to deny it. Even the nations of Europe, with all their beautiful landscapes and legends, were like a maelstrom during the terrible witch hunts in the Dark Ages. It's well known that the era gave birth to countless gruesome forms of torture and execution. Japan was the same way. Didn't it have its own era of hellscape-like torturous feasts because of religious suppression and things of that nature? Hinamizawa itself had such a period. It had that much history behind it. Even in Europe, land of the witch hunts, that was all far in the past. No more than a series of historical events, and in this age, nothing that abnormal would ever happen. That must apply to Hinamizawa as well. Just as Europe had its dark age, Hinamizawa had one too. That's how this should be taken. Even if these things all really happened in Hinamizawa, they're all long past. They don't have anything to do with the people living in Hinamizawa right now. Maebara-kun, you really do like this village. It didn't sound like she was making fun of me. Takano-san gave me a light smile. Takano-san, you're researching whether those customs survived into the present. You are... right? Shion suggested something that made my heart leap into my throat. Are you telling me that all these horrible things are still going on even today? What I'm about to tell you is a secret, alright? I told you, Shion-chan, because you're an understanding person, but the other villagers don't want to hear it. If things go awry, I could be ganged up on and punished. Shion flashed a devilish smile, as if reveling in the immorality of it. Maebara-kun, you keep it a secret too, okay? If this gets out, I could suffer Oyashiro-sama's curse, or be made into a sacrifice. If it's the curse, then I wonder what kind of death it'll be this year. If it's the sacrifice, then I'll be thrown into the Onigafuchi swamp while still alive? It is tonight, you know, the night of Oyashiro-sama's curse, Takano said, bringing her face right up close to ours, as if to say that she had the choice. That if she had the choice, she'd rather suffer the curse. That was what she seemed to be implying. Takano-san took a fairly worn notebook out of her paper bag, then began to flip through its pages. were all sorts of references and newspaper clippings attached to them, and it all had a manner of things written inside. The letters were very small and bunched together, so I couldn't tell at a glance what it was about. What I'd really like to do is search through the National Library for newspapers from the era, but here it is. A photocopy of a page from some book was slid into the notebook, and it too was written in small, tight lettering. Like the other pages, I couldn't tell what it was about just by glancing at it. This is a story that actually happened. It was around the end of the Meiji era. I'm reading too fast. This is really good so far. They discovered an unknown, mangled corpse, the victim of a murder, in Onigafuchi village. An old newspaper clipping attached to the page spoke of something that was no mere rumor or fairy tale. We don't have most police documents from the time anymore, so it's all based on oral traditions and memories. See, it's not very clear, but it looks like a cutout of a newspaper from the Meiji era. Never before has there been a corpse treated with such cruelty and inhumanity. Could it be the work of a demon? Being a copy of a copy, it was very hard to make out, but it was more than enough to make me feel strangely tense. Near the end of the Meiji era, in old Onigafuchi village, a mangled corpse was discovered. The identity of the corpse was unknown. It was even in a state where it wasn't even in a state where it could be identified in the first place. It was missing a head, and each limb was separated from the body. Skin had been peeled off the entire body, and there were markings that implied terrible torture in every place imaginable. Not only that, but the belly had been cut open by a sharp knife, with the entrails completely dragged out. The police immediately began an investigation, but since they couldn't even determine the identity of the victim, much less the criminal, finding answers was extremely difficult. Do you understand what it must have been like? I couldn't imagine such a strange sight, even if I tried. This was the first time I was ever thankful for my lack of imagination. The victim was skinned while still alive, underwent all kinds of torture, and was killed brutally. The author here also thinks that even after death, the remains were divided and dissected even further, the epitome of inhumanity. I'm of the opinion that the entire process was performed while the person was still alive, though. What do you think, Mayabara-kun? She spoke in a way intended to make me imagine even more vicious things. As my brain was already far over capacity, however, there was no way I could imagine anything more brutal. Wait. Yeah, okay. Then when I broke my gaze from Takano-san's, those strangely shaped tools were all around us. I wonder if you could faithfully reproduce the mutilated corpse discovered at the end of the Meiji era with the tools found in this place. I want to deny it. I don't want to admit that something so terrible could have happened at all. Even so, they were so strange, so terrifying, these tools, and if they had seen through my attempt to escape from them, they did nothing but ridicule me silently. So, that creepy incident, what was it in the end? The author says that regarding Onigafuchi village's dreadful customs, they survived into recent post-Meiji days. And that perhaps they lasted until around the beginning of the Showa period. This corpse, which at a glance had been brutally killed after a period of such torture, in actuality, it was the pitiful sacrificial remains of the man-eater's terrifying feast. The corpse was just leftovers. It was so fantastic, so strange, that it didn't feel real. Was this an extension of the legends too? It happened in the Meiji era, though, which is just too recent to be called a legend. Also, there's a newspaper clipping right here suggesting it. Okay, but even if it really happened, it was a long time ago, right? I mean, the Meiji era ended 100 years ago. That's all. 500 years ago. Besides, it kept happening even after the beginning of the Showa period, like with the uproar around the post-war canned flesh incident. Oh, I apologize. That story was too taboo, wasn't it? Takano-san immediately stopped talking as if worried about Shion. Shion briefly looked somewhat angry, but that expression soon disappeared. Huh? Takano-san, what did you just say? Canned flesh? Just then, there was a huge creaking noise. Everyone whipped around to look. It was Tomitake-san who had opened the door slightly. Did I startle you? Oh, Jiro-san, could you not resist seeing inside? This is a splendid treasure trove of torture devices. I'll pass on that. I'm bad with this sort of thing by nature. Takano-san held her stomach and had to muffle her laughter, as if she wanted to make a comment about his masculinity. In any case, the dance and ceremony are over and everyone's going down to the stream. The festival will be over within minutes. Oh, that's no good. Mayabaru-kun is just such a good listener that I couldn't help telling stories. I'd really rather you not mention me in a place like this. Jiro-san, could you wait out front? I want to take a few pictures. There are actually a lot of tools I'd like to bring home, but we obviously can't do that. Takano-san took a camera out of her paper bag and began to snap photographs. She looked like she was having fun, like she was on a scavenger hunt. Keiichi-kun, are you leaving too? I've seen enough. Shion, you're good too, right? Let's get out of here. I want some fresh air. I agree. Let's leave. I did feel a bit of hesitation at leaving Takano-san by herself in this darkness. When I thought about it, though, I realized that whatever kind of evil spirits and ghosts lurked in the darkness, none of them could hold a candle to how scary she was. Even if a phantasm were to appear, she'd be overjoyed and flash her camera at it. It seemed like Shion shared my somewhat rude mental images. We exchanged glances and smiled painfully. We left Takano-san there, bathed in her strobe of camera flashes, and decided to go leave the ritual storehouse. Everyone at the festival seemed to have gone to the stream, so their voices were very distant. The voices of the bugs, on the other hand, were clear, lending an empty feeling of isolation to the place. This fucking cheerful music. So suddenly. How was it? Interesting? Tomitake-san gave us a somewhat mischievous grin. He should have been able to tell by looking at how pale our faces were. I should have kept watch outside with you, Tomitake-san. Tomitake-san laughed so delightfully that it wiped away our dark feelings. How did you fare, Shion-chan? Were you scared? I was prepared for it, so I wasn't too afraid, but seeing the real thing was powerful. Shion spoke like she wasn't scared at all. She really had been quite afraid, but seeing as how I was in a way worse a state than her, I didn't have much room to talk. As Tomitake-san grinned candidly, my mind, exhausted and locked up by nervousness, began to calm itself. Was Takano-san an adult about this little expedition? You know how she seems like a child sometimes. I was worried she'd be way too excited. Both Shion and I laughed, and left that as our answer. Hopefully she was only looking at things. I'm worried she'll sneak something out of there, or mess with a ritual implement too much and break it or something. Right, that's quite possible. She is alone in there right now. She might pilfer something small and easily concealed, hiding it in her pocket. Yeah, I could see that. Shion said what I was thinking. You're sure she didn't break anything? I could clearly hear some noises like someone jumping up and down. I was getting pretty nervous. I'm sorry, I ran out of film. Jiro-san, if you have any more, could I use some? Takano-san suddenly appeared while we were talking about her, taking everyone by surprise. Tomitake-san smoothly grinned and responded as if nothing had happened. He's pretty mature. I'm all out of spare film. Sorry about that. Jeez, you won't win any Pulitzer Prizes by not stocking enough film for any occasion, you know. I suppose that's it then. Tomitake-san scratched his head apologetically. Without film, we're done here. Takano-san seemed to have given up because of that too. We checked carefully to make sure we hadn't left anything inside, then closed the door and turned the heavy padlock we'd left beside it. Takano-san, you didn't sneak anything out, right? How rude. I'm trying not to be that childish. Click-clack. Tomitake-san set the padlock back to the way it was before. From a cursory glance, it didn't look like thieves had snuck in at all. Okay, let's get over to the stream ourselves. If we don't at least set some cotton afloat, there won't be any point in coming to the festival. Tomitake-san spoke brightly, urging us all on. Setting cotton afloat down the stream, I shake my head a few times, driving away my dismal thoughts as to the double meaning. Takano-san, looking a little let down, kept turning back to glance at the ritual storehouse. Let's just leave it at that, alright? You saw enough to sate your curiosity, didn't you? Oh, not at all. Everything I found only renewed my interests. All those stories and legends suddenly hold water. After today, I'm going to have to change the way I look at all this. Wow, she's truly indomitable. Her curiosity really is something else. Still interested in all this, through and through. Okay. I need to grab my phone charger so it doesn't die. She's using my shoe as a clawing stand thing. I'm cold, so I got a blanket. giving me absolutely no fucking room to sit on this chair. Look at him. He's not at all worried about how much room he's taking up. Okay. Whoops. Okay, I'm gonna sit on your tail if you don't move. Oh my god. I'm sliding off. What the... Jesus Christ. Ooh. Got crackers left. I am very hungry. We descended the stone stairs, and all the people crowding the stream came into view. Near the bottom of the stairs, we could clearly see people receiving cotton that had been cut out for them, then wishing upon the cotton and setting it afloat down the stream. The festival was already over. Damn, I missed my chance to photograph the best part of Higurashi. Oh, but it's not too late. I'm going to go and set some afloat. Perhaps you could take pictures of me? Takano-san, with her impish expression, brought her head to Tomitake-san's shoulder. Despite his age, he looked embarrassed. I felt an honest respect for Tomitake-san, man to man, for dating such a handful of a woman. Goodbye then, Maebara-kun, Shion-chan. It's the last time you'll see them. Maybe? We're going down to the stream. Would you like to come with us? No, I couldn't get in your way. Please, take your time. Shion waved her hand to them with an expression just as impish as Takano-san's. Tomitake-san, on his part, seemed to want us to come, but whatever. My shoulders feel like off. Shion gave a big stretch and sat down on the stone steps. Heh, I'm pretty worn out. Same here. I'm exhausted too. Kei-chan, this is your first Higurashi, isn't it? You go on, don't mind me. I'm tired, so I'd like to step away from the crowd. Yeah, if we were to go now, we'd barely slip into the end of the cotton drifting ceremony. My sister and your other friends might be looking for you too. Go on. Oh, yeah, right. They've been by themselves ever since we got separated. I'd feel bad if they were looking for me. Then Shion suddenly got a playful look on her face, then put her index finger to her lips as if telling me to keep this a secret. My sister is the type that gets really jealous. If she knew I was hogging you this whole time, she'd never let me hear the end of it. So keep tonight a secret, okay? Keep tonight a secret. Don't say things that are so embarrassing. Not only because of that, either. Considering what we were doing tonight, we really need to keep it a secret. Oyashiro-sama's curse might happen tonight, and we four would be the prime candidates. The loosening threads of tension became taut again. Shion, however, burst out laughing. Alright, I'm gonna go get out of here before I run into my sister. I really am tired, so I don't have the endurance to put up with her anyway. I can't tell if you get along with her or not. We get along. Though as she said that, her vague expression explained that there were a lot of oddities in a relationship between twins. I'm an only child, so I don't really get it. Make sure you get along with her, okay? Right. Thank you kindly for your meddling. Okay, I'm gonna go. You should hurry up if you want to make it, Kei-chan. Wananagashi really is about to end. Shion stood up and brushed the dust off her backside. After watching her do so, I returned my eyes to the final ceremony of the Wananagashi festival below me. Seriously though, what was that sound anyway? It was kind of unpleasant and creepy. Huh? What sound? The sound. You know, the banging noise. It was really loud, wasn't it? I was giving her a blank expression, so Shion stared hard at me. I stared hard at her too. Sorry, Shion, could you give me the short version? What was making noise? Wait, Kei-chan, it didn't bother you? When all said and done, it was like we were speaking two different languages. Shion, explain it to me without jokes from the beginning, will you? What's this about a noise? Kei-chan, you quit joking around too. Really, honestly, it didn't bother you? Neither of us was giving any ground, and both of us were staring at each other in disbelief. We were answering questions with more questions, with no sign of an actual conversation in sight. Baffled, I held in the urge to shout at her, and asked politely one more time. I'm going to ask one more time, okay? I'll ask the questions. Shion nodded silently. Okay, here goes. You said that there was a sound. What are you talking about? The banging sound. It was like a kid was jumping up and down on the floorboards, somewhere far away. It really didn't bother you? There was nothing to be bothered by. When did you hear this? I never heard anything. Wait, Kei-chan, are you serious? Shion, as if she didn't understand my plain and simple answer, pressed me further, her expression serious. I have no clue what she's talking about, but if it has Shion acting so like this, whatever it was, it gave me the creeps and sent a chill down my spine. Someone did mention that earlier. I forget if it was Takano-san or Tomitake-san. Oh, fuck. Makes me want to look back now. Oh, it's not gonna go that... Okay. Sure she didn't break anything? I could clearly hear some noises like someone jumping up and down. I was getting pretty nervous. So Tomitake-san heard it. Shion heard it. I'm guessing Takano-san heard it, but she wasn't surprised by it, maybe? It was while we were looking around the inside of the ritual storehouse with Takano-san, about the time she started her stories, I think it was. Little by little, louder and louder, off and on, she heard a banging sound like a child jumping on distant floorboards. That can't be true. Don't start trying to scare me after all that. I didn't hear anything at all. In fact, it was so utterly silent in there that my own heartbeat was almost deafening. Please don't try to scare me either, Kei-chan. It was like something was making noise in time with Takano-san's scary stories, and I was totally creeped out the whole time. The chill rose from my spine to the back of my head. My blood turned cold as it crawled up my body. When it reached my head, my mind froze over. You and Takano-san weren't paying any attention to it at all, so I pretended not to hear it either, but you heard it, right? It happened a bunch of times and it was really loud. So if two people heard it and were to believe that Takano-san didn't hear it or wasn't paying attention to it. Maybe Shion and Tomitake-san are the two who are meant to be cursed this time around. Shion's eyes were begging me to tell her I heard it. I had no doubt, however, that my own eyes suggested something entirely different. You've got to be kidding look. In that storehouse, we were surrounded by brutal ritual tools that looked like they were from another planet, listening to terrifying old stories. The whole time, Shion had been hearing a sound that we couldn't hear by herself. Should that make Shion, who heard it, tremble? Or should it make me, who didn't hear it, tremble? I didn't know the answer to that at the time. For now, Shion seemed to have made that decision before I did. What are you laughing about? I really got you, Kei-chan. I was fibbing the whole time. What? Shion laughed, saying how easily scared I was, and clapped me on the back. Her smile seemed somewhat artificial, and actually made me feel worse. Then, after leaving me with 2 or 3 generic diplomatic goodbye phrases, she left, almost like she was running away. All I could do was look after her, my mouth agape. At the end of the day, I didn't have a clue what was going on. Shion laughed it off and said she had been lying, but she couldn't possibly have been lying. Of course not. And now that I think back, Tomitake-san said the same thing, didn't he? I could clearly hear some noises like someone jumping up and down. I was getting pretty nervous. Tomitake-san, the most neutral party present at the time, had said he'd heard something. Then, that noise, it was real. The banging sounds. Sounds as though a child was jumping up and down on some kind of floorboards far away. Oyashiro-sama's curse, which happens every year, might happen again tonight. The most plausible victim candidates were Takano-san, Tomitake-san, Shion, and me. The bustling of the people sounded further away than I would have liked, and the sounds of the insects sounded too close for comfort. I'm near so much human warmth, and yet I can't ever go back there again. Why? We're at the fucking end of this shit. Hey, Peter. He's so cute. Hi, Peter. Hi. He's a good boy. Okay. That was the ominous idea that sprouted in my head, in my mind. Then all of a sudden, I was pounced on from behind, causing my heart to lurch. Is it Mion or Reina? Keiichi, we found you! It was Rika-chan. When I turned around, Mion and Reina were there too. Mion sighed and said, "We finally found you. Now we just need to find Sadako." Everyone got split up this year. We should make sure we have somewhere to meet up afterwards next year. You're right. It's a festival, so we should all be together. I listened to Mion's happy declaration with a little bit of guilt. Keiichi, did you root for me while I was dancing? Yeah. I saw it all. You did a great job all the way through. No mistakes either. Yeah, that's right, Rika-chan. That didn't count as a mistake. I tensed up as I realized I'd made a mistake of my own. Mion slapped a hand on my shoulder a little roughly. A gross sweat broke out over my whole body. Did you do it too, Kei-chan? Did you get some cotton and send it down the stream? You haven't yet, right? Is what I could feel from her saying. Without the courage to tell any more lies, I lifelessly shook my head. Huh? You haven't, Keiichi-kun? You should go now, or it'll be over. It'll be over. Sorry, this is my first one in Nagashi, so I don't really understand the rules and stuff. That's right. I'm sorry. Mion took my hand as we started walking down the stone steps. Hey, Kei-chan. What? Did you see Shion? My heart skipped another beat. Maybe Mion could sense my surprise through my hand. No. Oh, well, I sort of think I saw her. You two look so alike, though, so it might have been you. You wouldn't have gotten that wrong. Oh, fucking God. Who the fuck? It was just Peter going through the door because I left it open. And now he's back. You wouldn't have gotten that wrong. We're wearing different clothes. Oh, that's right. Mion's momentary silence was like a death grip upon me. I just can't do anything about that Shion. Well, it's her we're talking about, so we can just leave her be. Mion's expression returned to her former, usual smile, and we continued down the stone steps, her firmly pulling my hand along. Alright, scrapbook 4 and 5, and after the festival. View new tips. Scrapbook 4. Wadanagashi. The rite of Wadanagashi is performed during a village festival every June, even now. The reading back to its origins turns up a seriously sanguine ceremony. Originally, Wadanagashi would happen at fixed intervals, and after receiving Oyashiro-sama's trust, they chose a sacrifice. Then the entire village would kidnap, demon away, the person and ceremonially dissect and devour them in a feast. The rules that determined the intervals are shrouded in mystery. This is because the ceremonies occurred extremely irregularly. There's a theory that it was determined based on an astrological fortune-telling, but it isn't too convincing. The residents of ancient Oni-Ugafuchi village firmly believed that they were half-man, half-demon transcendents, and that they were more valuable than humans were. And they forced people within and without to accept that. Perhaps the act of kidnapping and eating people was done to prove that they were higher up on the food chain. This is just a hypothesis, but maybe the rite of Wadanagashi was a political event, for the purpose either being an outlet for, or outright diverting the attention of, the villagers of the isolated Onigafuchi village. In any case of their complaints or dissatisfaction grew serious. If that was the main reason these ceremonies were held, then it's easy to explain how erratic they were. That was really fucking weird. I'm gonna have to read that one back later. The alleged importance of the implements. I can't find anything that gives concrete description on what the ritual implements were like. They were, however, real, and there definitely existed a multitude of different kinds. One source states that the implements used in the Wadanagashi rite alone numbered 200. The obvious question then is why they required such a myriad of them. The rite of Wadanagashi was to kidnap people through the demoning away, dissect them, and eat them. I believe the tools were for dissection and restraining, but 200 of them is far too many. Generally, tools evolve in such a way as to reach a solution for a certain problem. Once you've reached the ultimate goal, that is, attained a certain level of efficiency, the tool's evolution normally stops there. Regardless, why would they have created so many different kinds? One of the cultural elements responsible for diversification over time is that of entertainment. Tools used for entertainment would evolve over time and branch out. Unlike normal tools, reaching the ultimate goal would be more of a dead end, and in searching for the next goal, they would split into many different subtypes. So then, perhaps it's not a stretch to suggest that these 200 plus implements had some entertainment value. This is just a hypothesis, of course, but maybe the human dissection process was viewed as a type of entertainment. The three families of old would develop one new implement, dissection tool, after another, and each was varied, novel, and attracted spectators to keep them from growing bored. It's not unimaginable. All of them have to be enshrined within that storehouse. There isn't much longer until the night of the Waranagashi. Though its original intent has been lost, I will reveal the secrets of the traditional ceremonial night within the ritual storehouse. I can't restrain my excitement. Waranagashi cannot come soon enough. And she's fucking weird. After the festival, we'll get an idea of what happened. Late that night, tensions in the police station were strained. In the silence, many of the staff members' eyes shifted back and forth between the clock and their telephones, counting the seconds in that stifled atmosphere. Kumagaya-kun burst in with a young guy trailing behind him. Oishi-san, I've got the autopsy results. The court physician just got here. I'm ready to go, sir. I'll head straight for Gifu. Kuma-chan, things have gotten a bit complicated. They appear to be having a very difficult time determining who the victim is. Could they have been dismembered? Nope. Cooked to a nice light brown. He spoke in sportive tones, but the meaning behind his words was heavy. The staff gave a collective sigh. All the way, head to toe? Completely blackened, it seems. Probably smells terrible, too. What a shame it is to be Gifu-san. Cooked, with no possessions, then discarded outside the prefecture. At worst, it would have taken a week for the body to be identified. The fact that they'd sniffed it out tonight was huge. Komiyama-kun and a few others are performing a thorough night raid on the dentist in Okonomiya. All we can do is hope a tooth matches some medical records. Sorry, could someone buy me 2 or so boxes of Ultramild? The young guy answered in affirmation and darted out into the hallway. We did an excellent job finding it this year. It could be that the people who disappeared in past years were scattered outside the prefecture like this too. Then why not bury them? Or sink them into the Sea of Japan? Or Lake Biwa, or something like that? Why though? Hasn't the pattern so far been one person dies and another disappears? Kuma-chan, the corpse was inside an oil drum, unrestrained and cooked. They probably burned them after strangling them. They knew it would be found. So what you mean is, from the beginning, they didn't want a person to disappear this year? Not so much that as they aren't related. The person didn't disappear. In fact, whoever did it seems to have wanted to make a show of it. You mean it could be a warning? He folded his arms and then heaved a long and heavy sigh. That might have been the case had it happened in town. If they messed up, taking the victim far away and burning them alive wouldn't have been noticed. If they meant it as a warning, they should have done it closer to Hinamizawa. They wanted to emphasize the fact that they killed the victim, but instead of doing it somewhere for dramatic effect, they did it outside the prefecture. Did they want to emphasize it or hide it? Boy, I do wonder what Oyashiro-sama is up to this year. A telephone ring cut through the heavy silence. A staff member nearby snatched up the receiver. Oishi-san, it's Komiyama. They have it. The dental clinic in Okonomiya fixed the wisdom tooth 3 years ago. What about the records? Completed with x-rays. Well, I feel bad for waking up the dentist before dawn. Kuma-chan, get out there as soon as you get the records from Komiyama-kun. Will do. Oh, it's the chief. Thank you for coming out at this hour. Oishi-san, my apologies for my lateness. What's the situation? Well, it's just getting good, you see. I forgot to grab my charger. Okay, it'll be fine. getting good, you see. We're all getting fired up. Okay. I wonder if there's 13 chapters like there was last time. So I'm guessing we're like just over halfway through. Or just at halfway, I guess. So yeah. It definitely escalated quickly. I like that they referenced that meme. What is that even from originally? Oh, I thought it was Anchorman. Came out in 2004. Okay, that kind of adds up. Well, let's see, the next stream? Well, I need to revise my schedule by the time I get back, so... but I'll be back sometime after the 19th to stream again here. So yeah. I have so much packing to do. Ugh. But I'm glad I'm staying consistent, so I will be back in a little over a week to finish this.